Mute. Check. All right. Let's get the stuff ready. Put the channel. Put this in. Oh, I have to think it. Tell your friends we're live. Oh, here we go. Let's make a nice switch. All right. Present, share screen, and I should see that anymore. And there you go. Welcome everyone to the Black Band Broadcast. I am your host, Rap Raven, also known as Brother Raven. I'll be with you today for an hour or more, depending if we have people who want to jump in and talk. Let me make it more spacious on the screen. Big up, Brother Dominic. Good to see him early. Very important contributor to the Black Band Broadcast. All right. Big up everyone who's live and anyone who's not live. And tell your friends, tell a friend we're live. That's the real oomph of the show. You get your opinions answered. You can jump in, have a nice chat and all that good stuff. So this is the 219th episode of Black Band Broadcast. That means a 219 episodes where we're trying as a community to help our own community, the Black community. All right. Big up, Brother Leon. Very important, brother there. All right. Now, don't forget to follow the Black Betterment Broadcast Instagram. Tell your friends to tell a friend to be its friend. Follow it and all that good stuff. Week to week, I do a poor job of promoting it. Very poor. There you go. So we start as we always start. Talk about the triple tragedies. What are those? Talk about white supremacy, anti-black racism, and the Ma'afa. And those three tragedies, they have caused what we call the double dilemma, which is Black people we are despised and we're disorganized. So Black people may know a friendly non-Black person. However, collectively, Black people have no friends. We're going to unpack that today with one of the topics, how that works. And Black people can individually be efficient, but are collectively inadequate. And what that kind of means is sometimes when we think we're doing something good, it probably isn't. You know, without proper direction and proper templates and consistencies, everything we think is fantastic and super good actually isn't. And that's how it works, you see. So we use this broadcast to highlight that and try to do better. Betterment. So Black Betterment is a lifestyle of Black people continuously helping Black people. That's right. We formed a lifestyle. This is the solution. If we can culturalize this concept of Black people actually looking to be with Black people and find solutions and progress, we will see a better tomorrow. But it has to be something that you're consciously aware, because if you're not consciously aware, it won't work. It really won't. Unfortunately, we have been trained to not be Black first and Black vigilant and all that stuff. So yeah, that's why we, the small group here who are listening today and in future times, are part of that group that's gonna get everyone on code and fix the challenges. Oh yeah, fantastic. So where are we? We always focus on Black families, Black economics, and Black health. We call this the triple triumph. And also we've got a concept called Malengo, which is goals. So we're recommending that those 3 goals there, that should be your easy start. Like if we can teach Black children and the elderly and all that those are the 3 easy ones: Black families, Black economics, and Black health. All right. So what is today's? Oh, no, don't forget the link is out, by the way. And when you do jump in, let's not forget about discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. We're gonna play some videos, and there's gonna be some strong language coming through. It's okay when we're doing case studies. It is quite late here where we're shooting, but generally we try to keep it clean and constructive, just so it can be played to everyone if possible. But there will be we're dealing with certain community groups that talk in certain kind of ways, so yeah, just to be warned. All right. So 2 topics today. What are the 2 topics? They are racial repair versus racism repair. We discuss why understanding these 2 terms can help with networking and also show how Black people are very inclusive in many areas. Remember that word, very inclusive. And Black Manosphere Tactics Part 2. We started last week about the tactics of Black Manosphere, what it is. Some people were like, that's new, I've never heard of that. Can you explain it more? And sure we can. It's it's something that it's not gone, it's here and it's going on in the underground and is influencing many people's decisions, and we shall unpack why and how and all that good stuff. We discussed the patterns Black Manosphere podcast use for popularity and if reform can help the movement. All right. So normally what we do is I play some videos and I go through, what I saw this week and give you a Black Bear perspective of it, and you guys can always join in. And then I'm going to show you. Last week I was doing a Quincy Jones diagram. I've actually finished that. So should maybe I'll jump onto it after the video just to show you. After that, I'll make a note there. I know I'll forget, but I'm sure you remind me. Just say Quincy. There's actually 2 Quincy's there. We're gonna view today. That's interesting. Maybe it's a sign. Right, where are we? So the 290th episode. Let's see what we can play. This from no, not that. Let's see what we got. Black excellence. Black owned. Let's talk to this brother here. See what he says.
For Black people in the country, excellence is the base. That's the base. The goal is exceptionalism. That's the goal. But the base, we cannot be average. We must be amazing. And by the way, we are amazing. We are the most creative people on the planet. We really are. All right? When you look at from whence we came, and when we were building pyramids and solving complex engineering problems, when other cultures are living in the Caucasus Mountains practicing cannibalism. Okay? So we're all that in a bag of chips. They tried to erase that from history and erase that from our memory. It's all coming out now. We are an awesome people. Black people are a cultural phenomenon. And the longer we continue to demonstrate that, and this is an excellent example of the excellence of Black men, and you do the same thing with Black women, this is an example of what is possible, right? What is possible for us. Look at where we are now. Keep doing this. There's we may take over the world.
There you go, brother George C. Frazier, brother. I think he's a motivational speaker, African American brother. Let's see what else. We've got what else do we have? See what I came through. See, not that.
Feminists always wanted mass.
Sorry, I've got these things just jumping up from nowhere. What was the first one? Black excellence, Black owned. This guy Bob was talking about. This is a sneak peek. Oh, where's that? Play that, please.
To Black-owned designers and Black-owned businesses is Black people.
Ooh, break that down.
So I'll break it down for you. So, like, for me, for instance, I get a lot of celebrities hit me up. Like, just recently, I'm not even going to say the dude's name because I'm not going to disrespect him, but he said, yo, I F with your brand. I love what you're doing. Yo, Black-owned, I got your back. Send me some merch. Like, so I hit him back because one thing about me is I don't care how famous you are. Like, yo, and I told him, this is what I told him back. No disrespect. I said, listen. Black owned doesn't mean free. One thing about me, and this is why I hate when people ask me for free stuff, is because I feel like a sucker asking for some free stuff. And you think about it, right? These rappers or these celebrities are asking a Black designer for some free stuff, and they won't do it to Gucci because if they do it to Gucci, Gucci's gonna look at them like, oh, you broke. And we're more concerned about what the white people think about us, and what we are concerned.
This is a brother. I think he's got some shoe brand. Maybe you guys know who he is. I'm not. I can't really see too well, but it came on my feet. Can unpack this in different ways. The one is the ways about when Black people see a Black-owned business, they might want something for free or pay less, and sometimes the opposite might be true. You have to pay more, right? Just the way the networks work economically and stuff. But I think I don't know, like in certain industries, giving away free stuff to famous people as a strategy is something that it can be recommended. But obviously, the brother has his own experience. But generally, the sentiment is there, that you should try to support and not ask for things free. But definitely, giving things to high-profile people for free might be a strategy. But I just saw that. I thought, okay, interesting stuff on there. Let's see what else. Play a few more videos before we jump to the actual topic. Church preparations. Can I have a hug? So this, I can't remember this. Let's go. It's always good to listen to Claude Anderson. He's always important to listen to. Definitely have to listen to him. Is he going to play?
World is headed by the Jews in America. Because in America, the Jews got about 1/2% of the population. But they've been able to manage to control major industries like the diamond industry, gold industry, book industry, movie industry, legal industry, printing industry. It's controlled by Jews, even though they're 1/2 of 1% of the population.
Wow.
And see, here you are with 24% of the population worldwide, and in America, You're 13%. You control nothing.
Yeah.
Because the Jews stick together. They make sure everything that comes up that has any potential for profits and well-being and quality of life, they build it around the Jewish religion. Because basically Jews are whites.
Yeah.
They're Khazarians. And the original Jews were really blacks coming out of Ethiopia.
Absolutely, yes.
But black folk let them run them out of Africa, run them out of the Middle East, run them out past Kenya, down into Africa. Then the Khazarians. The Khazarians are a mixture of global, Mongoloids, Russians, and Polish.
Yeah.
And they're Khazarians. They came in and took over your religion in about 700 to 800 AD. And I'm trying to think when the prime minister, I can't think of his name now. He asked 6 black rabbis to come up to that area between the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea and teach the Khazarians a new religion.
Yes.
And they brought the Jewish religion up. They not the Jewish religion. They brought the Hebrew scriptures and all up there and introduced it to the Jews, and Jews took it over. So by the 1100s, the Jews had taken over the Jewish religion and left blacks out there hanging. They said they were now the new chosen people because they had pushed black folk.
All right. So what the brother was saying there, brother Leon, do you want me to add you to the group? I can see, but I don't think we'll turn your camera off before I add you. I don't think you message me. Yeah. So cool. I'm adding you to the thing that live if you want to speak. But that's what I understand there. And interesting thing he was saying. First thing what was important was he was talking about the percentage of black people in America and most of the world, also the percentage of ownership, and very low ownership, if anything. That's something to be aware of. That's why we say Black Betterment is awareness of this and actually trying to have ownership. Very important concept there. And then he was talking about European Jewish people who many were converts in the historical time, but through networking and other stuff they were doing have become a very dominant force in the Jewish identity, to which they've used to mobilize, and they own a lot of resources and industries through their kind of unity and stuff. So he was bringing that up. Very interesting to unpack that. Let's see, he's got more stuff he said. Let me see if somebody very important, brother Claude, somebody's still around.
Black folk, you're never gonna go to.
This was about teams. Let's see about teams.
Chinese restaurant or Chinese anything and find black folk working there. We only hire our own people. We only buy for our own people. We only support our own people. You black folk will buy from any and everybody because you don't have a code of conduct. It doesn't mean anything to you. That's why you all can't get ahead, because you don't play as a team. You all play as individuals. And you listen to these black activists on the streets saying we're not a monolithic people. You know, just because he did it, we don't have to do it. He's wrong. All of you should play as a team. Even if you don't like something that the group is going to do, you should play along with the team, and so you got team power. Wealth and power follows the numbers. If you haven't got a lot of blacks with you, you're not pooling your money, pooling your votes, pooling your attention, pooling your interests, pooling your labor, then other people will pick you clean.
Yeah, so you might see us talking, debating live, and then we would talk about unity and stuff, and then someone will say, we're not a monolith and all this kind of stuff, and those trying to disparage the concept of working as a team. This is not what other community groups do, and that's why we have to have a strategy of how to achieve that, and Black Betterment does that. So this one more from brother Claude Anderson. Let's see what it is. This is him predicting back in 2015.
For self-sufficiency and competitiveness in this country.
There's a brother in 95 talking about how Black Americans will be in 2015.
And that we must come together quickly or what risk being a permanent underclass in the society.
One of the alarming predictions you make in the book is along those lines. You mentioned that blacks will be pretty much a permanent underclass in America by the year 2015. Why the year 2015?
2015 because what I've concluded from analysis is that there are going to be a converging of social factors nationally and internationally that's going to place blacks in a permanent status of underclassship. And we anticipate by that point in time, based on all the research that's coming to us, that the next generation of whites is going to be more anti-black than they've been since the civil rights movement. 2, we anticipate by the same token about 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and about 41 million Asians by that point in time, which is going to kick black folk out of being the minority in the society down to a minority. We've been number 2 in the society for 400 years as a group. We're going to become number 4. And if we have not gotten anything after being number 2 for 400 years, you guess what's going to happen when we become number 4. Because at that point in time, all the new groups coming into America, they're coming in higher than we are, because this country operates off of a preferential acceptance program. Which means that groups coming in based on skin color, going from the lightest down to the darkest. Light, yellow, brown, black. And that's what our immigration laws are based on. And black folk would not be able to penetrate.
Think you know Black?
Cut that quite thing. Big up Black History Unlocked. Follow them. But yeah, we're going to see definitely more of him. More Claude Anderson. And I think, is there anything else I'm going to do before we move on? Well, it's quite a lot of videos I've got here. Hold on. I'm going to see if there's anything. Oh, this was a good story as well. Quick one of this. Quick one, I saw this. Just remember, there was a sister who was from Nigeria. Sorry, she was born, I think, in South Africa, but one parent was from Nigeria, one parent was from another African country, and there was a problem. They didn't necessarily want to represent South Africa for some reason, and but she then went to Nigeria. Now she represents Nigeria, and this is her in the competition.
As a woman who has faced adversity, I feel like I have a powerful story. I don't stand here as Chidima Adetshina. I stand here as a symbol of hope, a beacon of faith. As someone who has persevered with grace, I believe I have fought for not only myself, but for Africa.
Thank you, Mr.
That would have been South Africa, not Nigeria, as the runner-up. That's a good look. Congrats, Nigeria.
So the sister came second. I don't know who came first, but big up her. It was good if she came first. It was a nice movie story, but second still good. And I think this is the last kind of topic I want to do now before we jump onto the top. Oh no, let me do two. This one. This is interesting. This is what. Oh, this is another one. So this is Jonathan Majors, and I forget his fiance's name. A famous lady. Late at night, I can't think straight. But listen.
Oh yeah, we engaged.
So then again, congratulations to them. I mean, we did follow them, and we followed. I think he was an individual who was dating a European woman from England, funny enough, and I think he wanted her to be more like a black woman. There's recordings, and we just thought, well, you probably better off getting a black woman. But I think
it was Megan Good.
Megan Good. There you go. Thank you, brother. Yeah, there you go. And I think something happened, some kind of disagreement, and the charges were pushed. But it looks like, but unfortunately, he lost a lot of his jobs, if not all of them. He was going to be the main villain in the Marvel show, film, some villain. But it's just a big thing because he's the main bad guy. But then he lost that. But then I think recently the woman he was accusing him has pulled back the charges. She said that didn't happen. And that correlates with him marrying his new black queen. So we would like, hopefully, that they stay together forever, and black economics, and that nothing goes wrong. So wish them the best. Hopefully it can be a lesson. If you step outside, you lose your jobs and you get beat down. But if you marry a sister, I think will go well. That's the story we'll like. There you go. One more before we move on. Oopsie daisy, let me find this one last video. That's quite important. And then we'll move on to the topic at hand. Let's say this one here. I think this one.
As we come up on the eve of the 60-year anniversary into the assassination of Malcolm X, we here today officially announce the filing of our $100 million lawsuit against the United States government, the FBI, the CIA, and the NYPD, who we believe all conspired to assassinate Malcolm X, one of the greatest thought leaders of the 21st century. It is not lost on us that justice has been delayed in this matter. And on this momentous occasion, we stand ready to lay out our complaint very soundly. We believe there is solid ground to go forward with this lawsuit at this time.
All right, so that's good. I think that's Mr. Crump, I believe. He does a lot of kind of cases for when black people are beat down. by the police unjust. But this one seems to be hit home more closely in the sense of he's trying to sue for the assassination of Malcolm X and the role that the government's played or continuously played, and he's with the family there. So big up that. We were trying to follow that. That's like a very good fit. Losing Malcolm X was a terrible time, and he's one of the greatest really for what he did and what he represented, and him and the FOI and what they did. So yeah, very important contributions there. Now we're going to go to the actual topic at hand, but before we get there, so today's topic will be racial repair versus racism repair. What are the difference? Is there a difference? As well as the Black Manosphere Tactics Part 2. So we look at Black Manosphere. We try to explain what it is and how it might affect certain people or what things to know, but also certain tactics that Black Manosphere people do to get clicks and how that might not necessarily work in the collective best interest of Black people. Take a give. But before we move on, last week I said I was going to finish something, and I did. There you go. So last week, unfortunately, brother Quincy Jones passed away a few weeks back, not too long ago, and he a very wealthy man. He's done some of the 3 biggest albums within the top 10, I would say, were produced by him. And yeah, he left his children 80 million each, right about there, I think it was. So we looked at who the brother was marrying throughout the years and what. So as we see, as a rich Black man, he was married 5 times throughout the black and white days. It looks like the 60s or so, maybe 60s and 70s, that first one. And he seemed to have a type, Europeans, as you can see, pretty much similar, Swedish-looking kind of Caucasus Mountain Nordic sort of thing. And that's interesting. That's interesting. And we then looked at, okay, well, there's his wives. They didn't last, but it didn't last. But then he had children, and we look at who were his children marrying. And because obviously the children now inheriting the wealth, and then whoever they marry will then inherit that wealth and so on. So we're talking about how generational wealth works and how much money can easily slip from Black community to another community. And so we look at his first wife, Jolie. She married a European man, I think a music producer, if I can remember. So she receives 80 million. And the second, I looked at them once, and this is my research. I'm not Columbo or a Black equivalent. What's that guy called? Is it Luther? There's a Black, I think it's the brother who plays it. I think his name's Black, I think it's Luther. I'm not Luther, but I try to do my kind of like research. And then he had another sister with Rachel. I can't find anyone she was married to in her kind of what she's giving out to the world, but it does look like she married a Black man, or she was with a Black man, because she's got 2 Black kids there. So hopefully they're getting 80 million. That would be nice, but who knows? This is, that thing's in my way. Martina, I don't know. Very private woman. I suspect she probably hasn't married or hasn't got any children, but that's her personal life. But that's what she's put out to the world. Wouldn't know. But she has a brother called Quincy Jones III. He is up and coming, a famous producer of past. He was married to a sister. They divorced with kids, but he's one of the few who I know was or isn't married anymore. But yeah, congratulations to him getting the money. And then obviously there's Kidada. Am I saying that right? She was married to her brother, but they split up very early on in the 90s, it looks like. So I don't think she's anywhere now. And then I think Rashida might have been the one who, I think for Kanana might have even been with LL Cool J, to be honest, at some point. I think Rashida was with Tupac at some point. I can't remember, but she's now connected to a European guy. I think he's an artist of some kind. So they will be enjoying the 80 million if they're together. And then this is the last child, Kenya, who's married to another model. I think she's a model, he's a model. So, who knows if they're going to get married, but I suspect, congratulations to them. They will have 80 million. So that's kind of what we're unpacking, the whole how generational wealth kind of works. Especially, we highlight many Black people. Quincy Jones was famously producing Brother Michael Jackson, to which we did a case study. Here it is. So Michael Jackson himself, a wonderful artist. He married twice, one to Elvis Presley's daughter, Lisa Marie Presley. That didn't last. No children from that. But then he married a wonderful European lady, Debbie Rowe or something like that. And there she is. And I think there was some kind of arrangement where she would go and be pregnant by a European man or something like this, and then give him European children. So these are the European children he's had, and they're quite famous. Their names, I think... if I can remember, I think this one's called Paris. That's the lady's called Paris to the left. She's currently with some European gentleman. Now, I think what happened is when he passed, 40% went to his mother, which is great. 20% went to charities, and then 40% went to the 3 of his children, which was Prince, Blanket, and Paris. There you go. It looks like Prince and Paris, they're Europeans. They're doing they're with their European people. So Michael Jackson's fortune will pretty much be fully European at this point. But with this case study, just showing you how it works, how a generational work works, and how quickly you can go from African owned or black owned into European owned, especially if you're rich and famous. And that's why just awareness of how money trickles down and just generally how inadequate black people are generally. Because these are not a talking point, but I can assure you, to Asian people, European people, Jewish people, this is a very big talking point, to the point where awareness of marrying out to get money is a very effective strategy, just to be aware of. So yeah, so we cover it here. So once again, these are the 2 biggest kind of like music icon. The only other one was Barry Gordy, and we did something about him. I need to finish that kind of thing as well. But these 2, when it comes to like pop music and who sold the most, there was the producer and there was the eyes. Very, very popular too. But one would suspect that all the wealth they accumulated will soon be European, if not already. Especially all the ownerships and the rights. That Michael Jackson did own a lot of catalog. I don't know if they've got it back, because I know Sony and them wanted the catalog back, and they might. I don't know if his children inherit that, if they're going to sell it on. No idea. I think we also covered Bob Marley. I think Bob Marley also, a few of his children, one of them is married a European Israeli lady, and I think 2 others have married some Europeans, and I think they might have quite a high stake in his estate. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, there you go. Let's so just the thing, Black Betterment tries to promote, and yes, Michael Jackson was not, we understand that that they are not his biological kids, but what we do understand is through whatever stuff he was doing, they've inherited his wealth. And I don't know if they were raised to be pro-black or anything like that. I suspect not in any capacity. And obviously the partners they've chosen, at the moment, don't seem to be of African American descent of any kind. Could be wrong though, but I'm But then that was his wife to the right. There you go. All right, yeah, news. So now we're gonna go back to the topic at hand. We're joined by Michael Pan and Brother Leon. Welcome, family. Welcome. Well, when you find your mic, you just let us know. But I'm going to talk through which topic. Which one's the quickest one first? Men's right. What have I done? No, that's wrong. This is the wrong page. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let me do a quick. So I'm going to do a quick racial repair versus racism. This is very quick, and based on what motivated it. So basically, and I'm in this all love and peace. There was a brother I spoke to, and I've actually found a message of him, and he was what's his name? Hold on, I'm getting mad now. Oh, everything disappears when you need it, doesn't it? Okay. Oh, there it is. There it is. Right, yeah. So Patrick Hitchinson. So this was a brother who there was the when the protests were happening in London not too long ago. See if he's got a Wikipedia page. No, he doesn't. His personal trainer, coach, after carrying injured Black Lives Matter demonstration. Yes, let's go. So there's a Black Lives Matter demonstration in London around about the COVID kind of time. 2000 it was, 2020, and black brother, and I think there was some racist guy who was mistreating and trying to threaten black children and women, and I think some of the guys gave him a bit of a beating, and brother Patrick came and rescued the racist man, and there's pictures of him carrying the racist man to safety and stuff, being very merciful to him. And that image alone was very iconic, and the statues made of it. And since then, see if I can even download it. So let me show you what it looks like, just so I'm not still talking about random stuff. Hopefully, it doesn't get a flag. Patrick, did I even name those other two? Hopefully, let me play this. So this is him talking. The brother. Let's find out.
Schools. You name it, they have to now look at themselves and think to themselves, okay, the top jobs in this firm, who holds them? Are there any? I worked in the corporate world for 25 years almost. I was working in IT for investment banks across the city, so I do know a little bit about this world. And in my 25 years, I remember 2 black senior managers and 1 Asian senior manager, and no board members in the whole 25 years that I've worked across a number of investment banks. So I'd like to think that, you know, all of these companies now and institutions will start to consider and look at, you know, the numbers and realize how unfair it is and do something about it. So I'm going to say, yes, I think things are changing and they're going to change for the better.
So that's him. I think he's been invited back then. He was invited to a lot of stuff, and you know, before we say anything, this analysis isn't about more so him. It's more so how people react to him, and because that's more important. And we've covered it before, so we just unpack it more. Kind of rhymes. And yeah, so the brother, and as far as I can see the brother, one thing, he promotes health, so he's quite healthy. I think he's got a lot of gym stuff going on. So 10 points for that. I can see he has black children, so I says, and he seems to look after them very well. 10 points for that. And you know, he's on business. So technically on paper, this guy's amazing. You know, for what he's done. Obviously, he's a kind-hearted man. He saved a racist man from being beat down. I guess that's kind of good stuff. But what was interesting, as we covered before, was, you know, there was many people there at the time who were like talking about, you know, police reform and black economics, all this kind of stuff. And it was the imagery of a black man saving a racist man that became worldwide news. It was like, this is the thing. Let's see this other stuff. I think this is better. I hope I don't get flagged. If I do, what are you gonna do? So he also won awards like this. And let's have a sneak peek on it. And this is the picture of him really get him out of there. Get him out of there. Save him.
Video footage on there, and I put it's everybody versus the racists.
Okay, and just remember I told you we're talking about racial repair and racism repair. You know, it's one thing you tend to find amongst many brothers and sisters. They really are really trying to focus on that kind of thing. You know, it's about racism and everyone fighting racism. And the reason we're doing this is because this brother, I had a book, and the book is cool, and I think that must have coined it there. It's Everyone versus Racism, a letter to my children. Brother Patrick Hitchinson. He's won an award from Man of the Year or something like this in 2020. I came across his book, Everyone versus Racism, a letter to my children. I thought, yes, we need to talk about racial repair versus racism repair, because one of the things that, I mean, should I carry on play it? It's probably worth listening. And I see brothers in the picture behind them. All those brothers, they go to like estates, and they do gang intervention. I've been with them many times. Unfortunately sometimes there are predators in the communities, and they go and they find them and remove them. Many they do a lot of work that they document, and they were there primarily to protect the women and children who wanted to protest, who insisted they go. They went to protect them from the EDL and these kinds of people. And this man, I don't know if he identified EDL, but he has been identified as a racist, and he has never done an interview afterwards because of his views. He was saved by this gentleman and doing a kind act. Well, the more of the story is this gentleman, Patrick, and we want him to make as much money as possible, because any way black man makes money, take it. But it's more so for us as observers to say that this gentleman, they've used this as like, you know, the what black people should do, and give him awards and highlight this story. And the story is, no matter how racist someone is, no matter if they harm women or children, protect them. You see, and that's what we're and now this brother's made a book, and the book is Everyone versus Racism, and that's my children. So that's the analysis, and that's why we're breaking down racial repair versus racism repair. You see, racial repair versus racism repair. Let me go on the screen. Let's see, we've got a fantastic little. There's my there we go. So racial repair. So racial repair, a black person who wants to start a family with a black person, economically empower black people, and protect black people from racism. So that's the whole shebang. Meaning, yes, we want to fight racism, but we want to have we want to have synergy with black people. We want to have betterment with black people. We want black people to progress as a whole, as a group. And then you have racism repair, which is a black person who wants to protect black people from racism. And they might want to do that, and because they want to be in unison with other groups. They want to be married and, you know, integrated, and, you know, well, you know, we're all holding hands, rainbow, hooray, that kind of stuff.
Rainbow coalition.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, right? So, and I'm saying, but what we're pointing here more is how to heal as a group, and that's why the ideologies correlate. But what you'll find is whenever you have ideologies, concepts like protect racism over anything else, this is done as a European first concept. That's why now the gentlemen who are there who do good works will ever get any awards for what they're doing, and they shouldn't, because that doesn't impact other communities. We have to give them their awards, but when other communities give us awards, notice that their betterment is at the heart of it. Meaning, I like the fact that you protected a racist from attack. Thank you. Here's award. Here's a book deal. Here's invitation. And also, I think the brother, even with him saving the racist, he also got this. Couldn't show you. Where is this? I think this one. I'll quickly skip through it. But
during the protest, bearing in mind everything that happened before, how did it make you feel sitting at home watching all this stuff and then eventually being?
That's the prince. I think he's still the prince. That's taken away for the whole marrying a non-white woman. But I think he's still some kind of title. But once again, he's been invited to talk to royalty, alleged royalty, this kind of stuff. So it shows you that it got, doing these behavioral patterns goes a long way. And once again, nothing against the brother. We want him to make £5 million and then 5 million more. And hopefully his book sells millions, and his children always have lots of generational wealth and they marry black people. Well, that's why I've been very deliberate with what we're saying here, as in who you marry, your business, who you work on, reparations, consistency, ideologies, all that matters, because if you do one thing wrong, you lose everything, you see. And collectively, black people have no friends. That's very important. So we're joined by Michael, is that Michael Pan and I think Leon Kojo. I'm going to jump to the next topic soon, but is there something you wanted to say, bro? I think you said something for a piece.
Yeah, so I just want to add something. Although in America we talk about racism, how it impacts, Black Americans, right? But it's also global. It's not an isolated issue. And I understand the racism in England is more covert than overt, but it can be very dangerous at the same time, because you don't know what the racists are thinking, especially when they're moving, riding, walking. So I understand that it's very important for Black people in England to be alert. Like, they have to be constantly ready before they get ready, because it's just getting worse and worse. And also I understand that the British population, the number of Mzungus in England is declining very rapidly, and I know that the white British, or I should say, the Karen British, they can't stand they can't tolerate the changing population, and they're getting angrier and upset as the day passes by, very quickly. And I know that for young Black British, they're telling themselves, there's no point of staying in England forever or in the West. We're better off just going back to our parents' countries, such as Ghana, Sierra Leone, South Africa, Tanzania, because they know in those black countries, they make a majority of Black people, and they don't have to fear racism, every day. Unlike in England, America, and other parts of the Western world, or some parts, because it's not healthy. Because every day when you're fighting racism in those countries, like, you're in a fight and flight mode every single day, and it's not very healthy for your health. Blood pressure, mental, and and your mind. So that's why the young Black millennials are leaving the West in higher numbers for the African continent. And I also understand the Black baby boomers. They're asking their kids, "Why are you leaving this great country?" And the millennials say, "Mom and Dad, we see you every day, fight every day, fight, 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 and nothing changes."
Thank you. Yeah. So what brother said at first, he spoke about the covert and the overt. So let's break that down. So in places like America, you tend to find that racism happens on the overt. It's something that you can really see that America has an open kind of history of racism, and it was a big part of the founding of the nation, the enslavement of African descendant of Black people, and taking wealth from them, and obviously parlaying it into their own empire. UK has a similar history, but different in the sense of the enslavement, for the most part, happened in the countries of the Caribbean and Africa, and then the wealth was transported to the UK. But because of the Windrush and some other incidents, you find black people in high numbers in the UK. Now, when the Caribbean first came here, it was open racism. It was fights, and what was good and bad about that? The bad was people were hurt, but the good was black people understood that you have to stick together, and that's where the best economic unity came from. Ownership came from that. But what happened is, as time went by, it became more covert, meaning there were limitations that black people were allowed to go through. And that gave people a sense of security, a false sense of security, and black people no longer value what they once valued, as in unity, marriage, and this kind of stuff. And then wanting to actually integrate into other communities became a must, especially in the Caribbean community. Marrying out became a high thing. So wealth and generation, all that kind of stuff started going elsewhere, and people started selling houses and so forth. So this is the awareness that we have here, and that's why we're trying to kind of reverse that. We're trying to place a value back on black unity, black ownership, black families, black health, black economics, black and all black.
Right. Another question about that, because I understand in England you guys have free healthcare, subsidized, paid for by the taxpayers.
Mhm.
My question I want to ask is, because although England's healthcare system is pretty much public, but it's privatizing slowly, but rapidly. So my question is, how do you change the narrative or shift the narrative that as Black British, we need to form our own we need to kind of form our own like healthcare entity, because the public doesn't treat us as human beings or three-fifths what we say in America, due to the slavery racism. And I'm sure in England you guys experience that when you go to the NHS. And like, how do you shift that paradigm? Because I understand that a lot of most British people of Northern are very comfortable with the healthcare system. Like, they don't want to leave the public and form their own private healthcare. Like, how do you frame that narrative to let them know that there are options outside the NHS that can better meet our needs in the Black community? And I know like the older generations don't want to, how do I say this? Like, they're too, I guess I'm trying to say, like, too comfortable. Like, they don't want to buck the trend. Like, how would you frame it and address it?
I think, well, unfortunately, this is all our community knows. So there isn't really again, and also the NHS does have a lot of like black nurses working, but I think what it is, it's I think one of the challenges is in order to explain things that what's going wrong, especially use data. And every time we look at data, the data never works in black people's best interest, especially when we look at like the mortality rate of black women in the UK. When the pandemic happened, who was actually more exposed and more at risk, and who were ill, that was reported. And of course, and also how patients complain about they're treated and stuff like this.
Right.
I think we can observe. I think the Jewish community have a lot of their own kind of stuff in the UK. They have their own kind of like ambulance and some kind of enforcement agency, and I think even some kind of, I could be wrong with this, some kind of health, personal Jewish health preparation plan or something. And I think it might be one of the ones that you accept what you try to improve the NHS as it is, but at the same token, you try to build something that's more dedicated, that dedicates more the particular needs that black people have. I think one of the things we could highlight, and it's something that I definitely want to do here, is analyzing and observing that blood pressure and diabetes is exceptionally high in black people around the world, but more so when we have like integration in like Europeans, Asians, and this kind of stuff, right? And there's many historical reasons for that. But before we unpack that, it's the fact that it's so widespread and so natural, not natural, but so accepted, I should say, that already there's a direct emergency. I think when you go and you discuss this, there's special pills they have just for black people because of these very distinctive genetic or not even genetic mixed with conditional illnesses that seem to plague almost every black person at a certain age. So that's the need for the unique care Even I think even the BM is it the B what is it called where they I think is it BMI? Someone I think it's BMI.
Basal. It's called the basal metabolic index, right?
Yeah. So even that concept, as in like there's many pushing forward that actually on their record, you need to have a separate one for black people because of the bone structure and you know and the meat and this kind of stuff and how people grow uniquely from different different parts of the world. So it explaining that it can't be a one size fits all when it comes to health, and because blacks' health is so terrible. You need to have a dedicated plan, and the best people to lead that dedicated plan is black people.
Right. Right. And speaking about that, like, have you thought about or informing the people in England, or let's say globally, let's say focus on England. Have you thought about like informing your people that you know what, maybe we need to create a separate entity from NHS because the NHS is not meeting the needs of the black community, even though it's publicly funded and publicly financed. Because it's very clear to me that the NHS does not care about black babies, black mortality, even though it has black nurses. Even the black nurses are facing a lot of discrimination, racism, in the workplace, in NHS. And so I'm just curious to know if you have thought about maybe we need to create, maybe if like there needs to be like a separate entity from NHS, or if it's operating under NHS, have you thought about there should be um a separate, I'm trying to think, like a separate like public agency that's only reserved for black people in England, just like in America we have is the IHS. It's called the Indian Health Services, that targets the Native Americans.
Sounds like well. I'm looking at here now. There is Jewish. There's quite a bit of Jewish hospitals in the UK throughout.
Right. So that's what's hospital. Is that private or public? I'm just curious.
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I assume people would be able to go into anyone, but if I guess it primarily targets Jewish people.
Right. Because I was going to ask, because if the Jewish hospitals receive government funding, they know that they can't discriminate against someone because they're not Jewish. So that's why I asked if the funding is public or private, because it's very important who they serve. If it's private, yeah, of course they're going to serve Jewish populations. But if it's publicly funded, I'm sure you understand that when it's publicly funded, yeah, they're going to have to meet like all groups of people, regardless of race and ethnicity. I'm sorry, regardless of ethnicity and race.
And I think even if there was a black centered one, it won't be a challenge. Like if it's just we specialize in the needs of black people, but everyone can be treated. And then there might be particular ones that are just dedicated for black people with special needs, a special kind of care, whatever. I don't know, but definitely, black health is what we have this thing called Malengo, right? It means goals, and there's 3 areas to focus on. That we're trying to teach as a kind of like a cultural concept, and that's black families, black health, and black economics. But black health, that's what we were talking there. So that's definitely something we want to continue talking about. And what is that? And what? Okay, cool. Talk about it. Yeah, it's a very good point you brought up, and definitely something that you're right when it comes to observing. How black people are in the NHS and just certain rates of pain and mortality and challenges. It is quite high, and I think what we do here is we culturalize it, we accept it. There's many things we accept, but then what I was trying to show for the last video, just to segue back, is black people are encouraged to do things that places black people second, or the needs of black people isn't really there. That's why if you have a conversation about reparations, it's a high anxiety conversation that Europeans never want to have, or white people never want to have. But they're happy to let you know that the enslavers were given reparations up until 2015, right? So it's understanding that, and it's about getting black people more unified to pull our resources to, like Claude Anderson says in America, to do the same thing here, pull our resources and do for self. But you have, unfortunately. But as we show off the brother who just won the award for saving a racist from being beat down, there's lots of incentives to not look for your own people and to reward people to go against those kind of ideas.
Yeah, and do you think maybe because because I know America and England are very similar when it comes to racism. Do you think because it has to do with like guilt trapping, or it's like they want to live abusive relations, but they can't because the resources are there. And speaking about that, reparations will definitely close the racial wealth gap for sure, and not only close the racial wealth gap, but build black communities. And I'm just curious, has the black politicians in the British Parliament introduced reparations? Because I think that will play a substantial role and set a direction to encourage black British to do for self when it comes to like building black schools, black hospitals, black universities, black home health care, black daycare, black elder care, black groceries, etc. Because in America, I'm seeing more black people forming their own businesses, but the numbers are not there collectively, but it's growing.
Yeah, and there will be a lot of pushback in England about any kind of dedicated black concept. But it's something that once we're unified in Black Betterment, it will just happen, and that's what we're trying to do. It's an education piece to get to this to teach black people the value of unity, and that's what this whole broadcast is about. So yeah, as for reparations, yeah, it's something that we have been discussing. That they have reparation rallies and every year they have meetings about this. And there are those who I think we covered that a few weeks back, but we want to definitely cover more. But it's definitely so. But we look in this broadcast. What we try in everything has to be a strategy. So we demonstrate that whenever we talk about reparations, the reaction from non-black groups towards it from a collective standpoint, we use it as a case study to demonstrate that black people collectively have no friends, meaning too many black people are trying to unify with other groups before they fix black issues. So
Right.
we demonstrate that when you talk about something that is a black issue, the fact that it's dismissed at such a fast rate, that is demonstrating that you cannot ally with others because they have their own best interests at heart, while you don't have your own best interests at heart. That's why you're second place, third place, fourth place. So
Right.
strategy that we always use.
Understand. That's very understandable because even I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Marcus Garvey and John Henry Clark. Especially John Henry Clark said, "We have no friends
That's right.
outside the black community, so we only got our own to build."
That's
Are
right.
you also familiar with Philip Scott, the host of the African Diaspora news channel? He promotes like black unity globally. So it's not only black people live in America, but black people live in England, the African continent, Asia, Latin America, because he knows that black people are affected by racism, white supremacy globally. And his goal is to have black unity, not only have black unity, but have black people own everything when it comes to healthcare, education, daycare, finance, management, everything like black owned and operated, like the Black Wall Street, for example.
What's his name? Sorry, what's his name?
Philip Scott, the host of the African Diaspora.
Oh yeah, so he's from America, but his music is based on. He might even he goes to East Africa a lot. Is that right?
He goes to South Africa,
Yeah.
mostly, but he hasn't been to. I don't think he's ventured a lot. He's been, yeah, I'm sorry. He went to South Africa and Ethiopia, but he
Yeah.
has visited West Africa. He said West Africa, it's a different story because he finds that the people in West Africa are not very accepting of Black Americans, and that's why he feels more comfortable with South Africans, because South Africans have been through a lot. They went through apartheid. Even in the post-apartheid, they're still experiencing racism from the Boers. The Boers meaning like people from the Netherlands
Yeah.
who control the resources of South Africa. Even though black people make up the majority in South Africa, but the Mzungus or the Boers control 70% of the wealth in South Africa. And so Phil Scott is telling black people globally, where those who live in Europe, United Kingdom, or England, America, come, brothers and sisters, come to the African continent because we need to take back the country. If you don't want if you don't want non-black people to go there, we need to go there to not only visit, but to take over, restore what was lost. And I know he gets a lot of like pushback from black viewers because they're like, Phil, why do we want to travel to the African continent? And he tries his best to correct the stereotypes or to eliminate the stereotypes, because the West has spread false information about the African continent, and there are 54 countries in the African continent.
Yeah. So yeah, I've posted for family. I posted his name in the group, and I do remember his work. I've seen him. I've seen him grow quite a bit, and I think he's got a few. He's got his own show, and he's got a Pan African show as well. I think so. I do remember him, and I've seen him throughout. And I'm looking at his, yeah, definitely know the brother. But I posted his name so we know to follow him. But yeah, no, this is good stuff. This is, and yeah, we agree here. The unity. You know, working with those who want to be worked with in Africa and out of Africa, and you know, creating bases and creating concepts and ideas where we can network easier. And we're definitely about that. But he will get pushed back. But I mean, that's to be expected. That's to be expected. There's never been a case where black people come together hasn't got pushed back. But it's about trying to push through and trying to like basically make those templates that make sense, like ideas and concepts that make us work together. And about there. So we give thanks to that information you've given. Very important.
Yeah, because Philip Scott, and I'm sure you notice, he doesn't like his people to be victims of racism and white supremacy. You know, every day. He wants his people to be like superheroes, just like Asians, Hispanics, and white people who don't have the necessary experience, you know, direct racism. But because Philip Scott, in his mind, I'm sure you watch his podcast, he gets very upset. He has to report the news because to him, reporting racism and white supremacy is like, my gosh, why cannot people just stop being victims? You know what I mean? I mean, he cares a lot about his people for sure, but it's just like he wants his people to have their own resources, own business, so that way they don't have to deal with the Karens, Beckys, and Brads every day at the job, or even like shopping and dining with them, because dealing with, you know, them folks is like you're gonna have to fight racism left and right, and he doesn't want to see it happen every day because he knows his people are very smart. But it's just that he has a hard time telling his people, you know, why can't you guys just listen to me? I know what's right, brothers and sisters.
Yeah, definitely.
And what do you think the challenges is for Philip Scott trying to spread his message to black people globally? Some are registering his information, but majority are not embracing. What do you think that is? Do you think it has to do with his like delivery, how he goes about it, or do you think it's what he says?
Well, so one of the ideologies that we push here is a very controversial concept known open door elitism. And how it works is basically, I'll show you a diagram now, it's quite important, right? Is black people have been trained to be self-sabotaging. We can see it. So it will be very challenging to get through. So if you come up with a message saying, I have a constructive message for all black people, let's come together and hold hands, you'll get much pushback, right? So the strategy we push is this, or one I should say I push, but others can also co-sign. And that is, I'm trying to find if I can see it here. Got a lot of stuff in this stuff here. There we go. I think that might be it.
Yeah, because you also know that Philip Scott does not have a lot of patience for those who are not going to make it, because he feels like I've done a lot to educate people. I've told them where to go, but some of them don't, you know, some of them don't some don't listen what he says or preach.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to find this page. So yeah, no, it wouldn't matter, because what it is I'm trying to there's something called the diffusion of innovation. There we go, found it. So the diffusion of innovations, and it's on the screen at the moment, aka the three eyes of innovations, right? So what the idea is that we've got this concept called Black Betterment, which is a complete lifestyle black people have with each other. It's a lifestyle. So when you think of veganism, it's a lifestyle. Well, Black Betterment is a lifestyle, right? It's something you do every day that is part of black people progressing. Yeah, and we find templates and concepts that really work. So the people who are going to actually come up with those ideas, right? That small group, that's 2.5% of a community. So those people are constantly trying to find out with ways of what should we do. So we show videos of Claude Anderson, he would be one, right? There's people on here, we will be another. As in, we think of how in our nation or in our place where we're at, do we operate together and teach and do concepts that benefit black people collectively, but in a constructive way that can be marketed. Cool. 2.5% of that. So there's a person who introduces a new method, idea, product, right? Now, that 2.5, then has to have a 22.5% influence, meaning there's influencers, people who are they're better with the message, or they're good at their branding, or they're good at taking a concept and telling their family about it. That's 22.5% up we're trying to reach. We have the information, we get them. That is what we call the open door elite, right? That 25%, the critical mass. that 20, because they say if you get 25% people doing something, that's the critical mass number, and that people will start will copy them without even knowing. So that means that the other 59% are the imitators. They're seeing something that's happened that works really well, and they don't even know they're doing it. They're gonna copy it by osmosis. So when you see people sabotaging Black progress, they've learned that by osmosis, as in something has happened in the past. For example, let's play a video here. I'll play a quick video just to make more sense of a woman talking about colorism. And so where is it? Miss Universe,
Yeah. And a quick question. I have another question. So what is the Black
There is no
population?
In the UK, I think it's 4% or something like that.
such thing as good hair when it comes to texture. When you have good hair, that means you have healthy hair. But when it comes to texture, like 1, 2, 3, do, re, mi, I don't give a damn. There's no such thing as good hair. We have got to the point of society. I heard somebody say, "Oh, she got good hair." When you say she has good hair because her hair texture is different with a looser curl and her hair looks silkier, to me that sounds like you saying someone with 4C has bad hair because their hair is coarser. Like, it's giving texturism, it's giving featureism. I ain't liking it. We gotta break out of that generational curse. Let me stop saying we, y'all. The people who know who I'm talking about, y'all, because I don't speak like that. It's really, it's. I get icky from hearing it. But I'm really just educate y'all. That's all. Listen, I know with so many people out here, I heard men speak like this. "Oh, she got good hair. Her hair wave curl up." Whether your hair wave curl up or not, your hair is beautiful, especially Black people. Especially if you got Black children, boys, girl, it don't matter. Let your Black kids know their hair is beautiful. When I was a little girl, I wish somebody told me my hair was beautiful. I was told all the time that I had a nappy head. That is so pitiful. A grown person told me growing up all my life I had a nappy head. And not just a grown person, grown people, multiple people. I never heard nothing good about my hair as a child growing up. Never in my life heard no positive thing about my hair. All I heard was, "Oh, you need a perm in your head. Your hair so nappy. I wouldn't do your." That's all I heard was nothing but negative things. It should be no reason people saying, "Oh, she got good hair, she got bad hair." That is a disgrace.
All right, so what we're highlighting there is in the Black community, remember, self-hate is taught, it's by the default. So every a high level people are doing it and not knowing they're doing it because it's naturalized. Just if something is light, it's great. If something's dark, it's worse. The more coiled someone's hair is, the more negative you might get. So the innovation we're doing is we're reversing the lingo, the languages, how people see it, express it, right? And that way we get the influence to do it. So that's a naturalistic thing. So like in that woman's environment, when she grew up, it was natural for them to demonize what came natural on her. You see, that means the mass numbers of Black people are self-hating, right? And then they have to find, then what they do, they try to react to that self-hate by doing things that might not be in their collective best interest, right? So they might bleach, they might fry their hair, they might wear weave,
Straighten their hair, right?
Yeah.
Straighten it.
Yeah. Now, if you're doing these things in a peaceful environment where there's universal creativity, maybe that's fine. But when you do it in an environment where people are telling you are ugly, then we have to use it as a case study to say that might be the motivating factor. You see, so the reason we're talking about the diffusion of innovation is we need 2.5, and this correlates with what you're saying with that gentleman. 2.5, we need to network. The people who are about Black Betterment, the people who are about unity and want to push new narratives, we have to come together and we have to form what that is, and then we have to give that to the 22%. So that brother there, Phil, he might be actually the 22.5% influencer, as in we have to give him a way to. So you say that sometimes I don't like his message, or maybe what he's saying. We have to give him a way to deliver that message that has been branded and done really well, and we have to all be on code on how we distribute. So it's words. So there's certain words we use that becomes in the zeitgeist, right? So for example, the anti-Black racism, they took a word called woke and they are turning it into an evil word. So now when they say woke, they're trying to talk about a concept that LGBT people took and used for some kind of like branding they were doing, and now they're demonizing the word. So they understand how to take words and demonize it. So we have to be able to take words and make it cool, make it understood, and make it go throughout the internet, and so people understand like the whole good hair, bad hair. We have to have things like divine hair, a king's crown, or whatever it is. Yeah, yeah, and then we push that out there. You're always
Right.
trying to tackle self hatred, and we make unity a virtue. Well,
Mhm.
when I usually do a lot of public debates, and you find there's a lot of black people, they demonize the concept of unity, and they try to make a mystery thing where they say like, "Oh, we're not a monolith," all this kind of stuff, right? We have to have a quick comeback, yeah, where we're like, mate, I don't know where you're getting that from, but we value black people, we value black women, we value black unity, we value it. It's something that's part of our core. It's something that we really into. So these are the methods that I recommend, but it comes with that 2.5%, the innovators, and you might be one of them, bro. Yeah, coming together to work on strategies to help, and this is the place for it. This is one of the places on the internet. So if you are brothers and sisters out there and you are amongst the 2.5%, come on this show. We will build, we will try to find strategies, we will design, we will do diagrams, we will introduce to other people just so we can introduce the innovators to the innovators, and when we're ready, we'll give what we've made to the influencers so they can influence the imitators. You see?
I see the graph, and I'm just looking at the diagram. I'm seeing the chart. So you said first guy is 22.5%. The person who has who can influence by promoting some social media, but then the black imitators, 59%. So you're saying the 59% imitators, if I understand correctly, are watching Philip Scott. So they're imitating what he does. So that way they can build up the black community because they don't feel comfortable being their own leader. So they need someone to lead first before
Yes.
others can join.
Yeah, so this happens by osmosis. So, for example, it's like it's people are not aware they're imitating. The thing is, that's how. So this diagram is a interpolation of a concept known. It's a media a marketing concept known as the diffusion of innovation, and it's how there's a reason why everyone knows a famous dance move in a couple of weeks. Everyone's got the same kind of phone, the same kind of trainers. The innovators, they push it out there, the influencers make it sexy, whatever it is, and then the imitators, it's just normal. So they walk into a shop or they walk into an app and it's like, oh, that's what it's about because it's already been done for them, right? So that's how marketing works. So the innovators are coming up with the concept and the influencers are coming up with the marketing, and then the imitators are just living in that osmosis, they're living in that truth. And then, so someone will say, so for example, if we value black men valuing black women, we'll say things like it's generational wealth, or we remember our ancestors. It's how you keep your assets within your family, right? And then we have all those kind of concepts. We make it sexy and good. And then when a black guy is getting rich, he knows one of the best things I can do is get rich and marry a black woman and support my community, because it's a virtue. It's like it's something that we that you are respected by doing it. It's something that we want to compete with each other, how good we can do it. That's the idea, because the opposite's being done. Destroying the community is being rewarded. You see, like talking about how to destroy yourselves, how to hate each other. This is rewarded, right? And also protecting others before you protect yourself, and we demonstrate that with the video about the brother who a racist man was attacking women and children. He was getting
was being rescued by a good black man, and so that's the part I want to. Yeah, that's the part I want to talk about, because I hear from Philip Scott and other black YouTubers. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Demetra K, Donman Sadiq. They talk about black issues every day, how a lot of issues impact black communities directly. And I know from Donman Sadiq, he gets very frustrated. He said, why as black people, we always have to be the first one to be so generous outside of race, but other groups don't reciprocate? Why do we always have to keep following our mama, grandmother, do the Lord's work? Oh, be good to other people? Because I understand that, I understand most black people are frustrated. They don't want to help those who don't want to help us back. We try to get the reciprocation, right? Because it's like, why do you want to stay in an abusive relationship when you know you're not going to get any value, in return? Because when you try to change the person to be good, he's still going to be the same person. You know what I mean? And that's the message that Philip Scott, Demetra K, and Donald Sadiq are trying to preach to the people. Get out of abusive relations from, the Brad, Becky's, and Karen's when they don't reciprocate. And my question, I want to ask you this, and this is kind of like a comment. So when you guys introduce reparations in England, my advice is make sure it's for descendants of African slavery, because when you don't say descendants of African slavery, other groups in England, such as the Indians, Chinese, they want to be included. So make sure that the language is very exact, specific, exclusive. Make sure it's lineage based.
Yes, and respectfully, I apologize for cutting you off. I
Sorry.
say make it even more precise by saying descendants of UK chattel slaves.
Slavery, right.
Because if you just say descendants of African slaves, that could be respectfully, this is no disrespect, but it could be a Haitian, which is the descendant of French enslavement. He might be in the UK and say, oh, they said descendants of African slaves. And he might try to put his foot in on the reparations claim. Now, it's on you as, I don't want to use the term Black British because I don't like the term Black, but it's on you as citizens of the UK of African descent to decide, do you want Haitians and people from Martinique and Afro-Brazilians, do you want them to be able to put their foot in on your justice claim? You have to decide that on your own. But the brother made a brilliant suggestion, and I'll tweak it once again. You must say descendants of UK chattel slaves, just so it's not a free fall on your justice claim.
Thanks for that. So let me jump in. So there's two, well, it's quite a few, but we'll mention two kind of thoughts, right? Two schools of thought. One is that people from Africa are one people that's being separated, and there's certain Pan-African strategies that deal with that. Another one is that if we're going to UK, it's whoever UK is enslaved, the sense of those enslaved, whether it's the Caribbean, Jamaican, Afro-Dominicans, that kind of stuff, there it goes. But at the same token, we would be working with the Haitians who were enslaved by the French,
Exactly.
and to reparations,
Right.
and the Angolans who were enslaved by the Spanish, and Jamaicans who were also enslaved by the Spanish as well. So it's there's a unity thing. It wouldn't be any kind of like disagreement or problems with people trying to claim, because we would want to be very clear. But we have reparation committees and here currently who have gone all through that. But what you're saying, and I understand, because in America you're definitely getting that clarity to make sure that no one can come in and try to take, and that's good that you're doing that, because that definitely will happen. People will try to muddy the water, and so you don't get anything, right?
And it must also be noted that African Americans are also descendants of UK chattel slaves, because before the US was its own sovereign nation, we were enslaved by the British. That's why most of us have English last names.
Yeah, and this is the thing. So from a Pan-African standpoint, these are conversations that we can have, and there's certain people where, like I said, their whole thing is, I think there was even the brother used to come on here. His whole thing was sub-Saharan Africans who were descendants, whether in the diaspora at the moment or in the New World or the Americas, they all have a claim, and a bank will be set up for those individuals, right? And then there's also more Pacific. I think there's CARICOM in the Caribbean. That's more so from a Caribbean standpoint, talking to the UK government. And then there's those who are in the UK who want things here in the UK. But my thing is, and now once again with me, it's more about strategy. So I believe that all Afro descendants, all Black descendants, deserve reparations from the enslavers. However, I come from a standpoint is I'm trying to demonstrate to Black people that we have no friends collectively worldwide. And the reason why reparations is very important is when I try to promote Black men marrying Black women and Black families, they might use the white wealth ideology, which is love has no color. And we're all the same, we all love each other, this kind of stuff, right? So I then use, well, why don't you ask your wife to be, your husband to be, do they support reparations? To which, when I do this online or in a debate, it is 100% no, we don't. No, we don't. I say, look, you're already married and give them your wealth, but they're not going to give you your wealth back from what they enslaved, right? You see, what their ancestors enslaved. They're happy to take the finance from being the enslaver, meaning in the UK, the enslavers were paid up until 2015 because they had to shut down the slave trade and they were going without slaves, or enslaved people, sorry. So they were paid, and no one complained about this. This made sense. But when the people who were the enslaved want to get reparations, you guys, this was the past. You guys keep asking for handouts. So I'm saying to use it as a strategy to demonstrate to Black people that Black people have no friends. So while you guys are here, because you might be new, we have certain ideologies that we use that that's meant to keep people on track. So every time I start the show, we talk about the triple tragedies, which is white supremacy, anti-black racism, and the Ma'afa. Now, those triple tragedies contribute to what we call the double dilemma, and that is we are despised and we're disorganized. You see, and these two things working in tandem is why we're always you're describing some of the challenges that the brother Scott was having when trying to unify people, because at one area we're despised, and at the other area we're disorganized. So these things working in tandem make it very hard, right? But then we have one solution for this. And what is that? I hear people say, well, that's what this entire show is about. It's about a lifestyle known as Black Betterment. Meaning, when I observe, when we observe something like veganism, there is no leader in veganism, but yet veganism seems to be spreading. You go to restaurants, there's veganism. You go to certain clothing stores, there's veganism, because the lifestyle has been pushed in and people practice it. So it's a code before it's actually a kind of person, right? Mm-hmm. It's an idea before an individual. So the idea is, can we teach a lifestyle, meaning that making all the things of building a community sacred, valuable, consistent, right? If we can do that. So that's why we're pushing, and one of the easiest way to promote Black Betterment, as in the lifestyle, is to focus on 3 areas that we're calling Malengo, which means goals, right? And those 3 goals are as follows: Black families, Black economics, and Black health. And we're saying that throughout your life, you can be getting a gold medal, a silver medal, or a bronze medal, metaphorically, in how well you do these things. And we're trying to track it. So just like if you become a Black person who hates Black people and you make songs about it, you're rewarded, right? If you and the more degrading you do, the more rewards you get. But we can reverse that. Yeah, we can say, well, why don't we have a reward scheme, for how well a Black man and Black woman raise their family and teach them values and stuff? Why don't we have one about Black businesses, economics? So you can say, bro, throughout my life, when I'm on my Malengo, I got a gold medal when it comes to Black businesses, man, because, I own the Black business, I hire Black people, I support the needs of the community. It took me a long time, but I've achieved that Malengo. You see? And then the brothers was talking this about Black health. How do we improve it? Well, that's now part of your actual lifestyle. Your whole being is like, how do I heal myself and how do I heal my community? And maybe I start a Black dedicated hospital, a Black dedicated health center, these kinds of things, right? But making this Malengo a thing, as in something we talk about, a hashtag, an interview, a video, a topic in a cartoon, a graffiti logo on a wall, whatever, right? The whole thing. And that's what we do here. We try to find ideas that are built for Black first, Black people, be one. And we promote them, we review it, we make it sexy. So if that brother is struggling to promote certain stuff, he's by all means, we can chop up with him and we can try to work with him on branding and certain things to make his message more appealing to whoever he's trying to get out there.
Yeah, I like it. I like how you I like the mandatory goals, Malengo, because you're giving the community like incentives how to build the Black community from bottom to top gradually. So that gives like more encouragement for Black people globally to do for self. And I think it's a good way to strategize, because I've seen Philip Scott, he goes very hard on his people and gets upset that if they don't follow his way of building the Black community, then we can't really focus on the 2/3 who won't make it. But he says, let's just only focus on the 1/3 who will make it, because in his opinion, Philip Scott feels like, we're very smart people. We have the capacity. So he feels like I'm not going to waste he feels that he's not going to waste his time and energy on people who really don't want to build a community from scratch. I mean, they want to, but the problem is because they lack, like guidance, right? They need substance. And I'm so glad you mentioned substance, because substance can guide people to build a community, where to go, how to start, how to pour resources together. Because you mentioned Black family, Black economics, and Black health, because they're intertwined and they're definitely, related.
And may I ask respectfully? I apologize. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I didn't want to say it too much. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. And and I'm just asking because I'm genuinely curious. Why did you choose the word Black instead of African or Afro diasporan?
Who, me?
No, he's talking about the very good point. Very good. So, and I'll show you a diagram why.
Okay.
So, the first one, here's the one: Black race. So we say the Black race, and you see this little star here. This star is a synonymous star. This means that one word can have multiple meanings. So when we say race, race stands for Reconnected Afro-Centered Ethnicities, a collection working for protection and perfection. Okay, and then when it comes to the actual word black, which is synonymous, by the way, I'll show you. I'm just going to show you the diagram we have here. If I can find it, you must. This book is this PDF we make is quite big, but it's pretty much has a lot of the answers that is there. And you give me 17 seconds, and there we go. Haha. So black can also mean black or more, African. It could be Aboriginal. It could be Alki-Bulan. It could be Ethiopian. It could be Israelite. It could be indigenous. It could be colored. It could be Negro. It could be Nubian. It could be Moorish. And so I say black Betterment, but you might say African advancement. Because some people think it's a spell, like if you use certain words, that's good, so that's fine. Some people might think that let's use that more ancient word, Ethiopian with an A, sure. How about Aki Bulan? Some say it's an Arabic word or before Arabic word, the burnt face and this kind of stuff, sure. Some people might want to go, indigenous, sure. Negro, if you want to go there, Nubian, Moorish. Wherever a person wants to do. But what's more important is this concept of the synonymous star. And this is something that it exists before we said it, but people seem to forget, so we pretend we made it ourselves. And that's where one thing can be many stuff. So anytime you see the word black in our documents, you're going to see this sun, this little this star, this sun concept, right? Me personally, black is just a word that is legally used here and it's historical, right? But if we had to change the word, there's two words that I would push forward. One, the sun people, the sun community, the sun people. Two, the ABC community, and that's Afro, Black, connected people. If I had to say something else for a legal or a new,
I missed that. What was the C for?
So C is connected. But it could be, but here's what's amazing, because we are using the power, the synonymous star here. You see, we're using it here. ABC could be African, Black, and colored, Afro, Black, connected. It could be African, biracial, and Creole, whatever someone wants to say.
Yes.
And the reason why, remember, this is about marketing and branding now. The problem we find is Black people will stay in a circle for maybe 2 days, 4 days, maybe a week, a month, discussing names. Like, I think we should be called Black. I think it's African. We have a solution. We've got the synonymous star. So you can say Black, you can say Blackamoor, you can say Aboriginal, but we've even got every ethnic group that we can see listed. So even if you want to go down to ethnic groups, you've got every single ethnic group that has been registered historically as Black down. You see? And those groups working collectively, or at least the open door elite, meaning those who are interested amongst those groups working together. So if you are constructive and you want to work with other people nationally or internationally, we will help you do that. And we're going to come with easy ways to minimize anxiety and arguments and time wasting when it comes to dealing with this problem of Black inadequacies and Black hatred. You see, and we're going to, and that's how we do. So hopefully that answer makes some kind of sense to you, brother. And because you guys are new, I'll break down how Black Betterment works. So Black Betterment can be split into two types of a lifestyle. One, the practitioner is called a Black Betterer. And it says here, a Black Betterer is a Black person practicing a lifestyle of choice involving dedication and enhancing the livelihood of Black people, specifically locally and globally in all areas of people activity whenever it's constructively possible, right? That's a Black Betterer. Now, that's like the hardcore black belt of Black Betterment, right? But the white belt, or the entry level, the casual level, is a Black Betterment builder. And the Black Betterment builder is a Black person practicing a lifestyle of choice involving dedication and enhancing the life of Black people, specifically locally and globally, in one or more areas of activity. So what that means is, someone like myself, I have to marry a Black woman. I have to try to start a Black business. I have to try to be Black and healthy. I have to try to create concepts that push Black people forward. And I have to be Black first in every single activity I do. That's me. But there's some people that might be too hardcore, might be challenging, whatever it is. So we tell them, why don't you try to do 1 or 2 activities for the rest of your life that is Black focused? So maybe you want to start a school that teaches Black girls how to code or cook food or something like this, healthy food, whatever. Or maybe you should do a gym thing where every Fridays Black people come, they pay you £2.50 or $4 or wherever you're based, and you teach them how to be healthy, how to lower the blood pressure and how to eat healthy, whatever it is. You think about something, and that way, because what we find is everyone in their heart really believes they're helping Black people, but nobody's helping Black people, you see? Because if you're not deliberate, if you don't know what you're doing, you're probably doing nothing, right?
Right.
So by having, you get that? So by being a builder, you can actually articulate, here's what I do, and here's what I'm going to keep on doing until I die. So that's the idea there, brother. So hopefully I think the other brother left, or he might be disconnected.
Yeah, I just have Sorry to interrupt. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry, Rap Raven.
That's fine.
In the private chat, I put down Philip Scott's email address in case you want to reach out to him to deliver your presentations, because what you present is very awesome. It's very strategic, very solution focused, because you broke down the information very in a digestible manner for not only audience to understand, but for Black people globally to understand. So that way they could start doing for self and build their own communities, gradually. And I'm so glad. Yeah, so it's his address right there. But I'll say this with Philip Scott, make sure you visit his website, because when I try to email him, he doesn't respond. But I think if you go to his website and I'm trying to remember when you go, you want to click on the contact information, right? It's going to ask you want to hear. It's going to ask the following criteria. It has the following criteria for multimedia information, interviews, right? And I think if you want to do interviews, he's going to ask for like specific. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while. I think for like specific billing information or contact or reach out. Because he does interviews too. Like his interviews are like 1 to 2 hours, and I think it'd be very substantial. You saw the same stuff that you're presenting, because what you're doing right now, you're opening people's eyes gradually, and that's what needed. Because I'm pretty sure Philip Scott's going to change when you show him this information, this crucial piece, because now he's going to think about solutions from bottom to top. And I just want to add too is make sure that when you have Black-owned business in England, make sure you demand the Parliament for an anti-Black hate crime bill, because it's needed if you want Black business to thrive. I'm sorry, to grow and thrive, because other groups are going to follow. So just make sure that make sure your people introduce an anti-Black hate crime bill. I don't know what's the term for it, because in America, there's been a bill that was passed by Congress and signed by the president called the Anti-Asian Hate Crime Bill, but it does not include Black people. And so right now, the Black activists in America, they're trying to lobby Congress, whether it's at the local, state, national offices, to introduce anti-Black hate crime bill. So make sure you include that, because that's something that your people are definitely going to need for protection. You understand what I'm saying, right?
I do. I'm aware of the bill as well. In fact, what I've done is I've taken a copy. I've taken your name as well, and I probably will reach out to the brother. I've seen his work, and more so, what we promote here is if we can ever offer any kind of assistance to anyone do constructive, then we should. So I'm happy to talk. If he sometimes a lot of people mention people, they might not see it. But hopefully, it's some. I'll put on a list of things to do to reach out, as I've done with other stations, where I offer them assistance, offer them branding and concepts, and just discussions how we can work in unison to find solutions. So yeah, definitely. But brother, I'm going to say thank you for this. I'm going to have to quickly jump onto.
Very quickly. Yeah, just remember, just 2 more things came to my mind. For Black business to thrive in England. Make sure like I know like I don't know what's the prison population in England, but I know America is very high. Make sure you target those who are incarcerated, who need resources, especially for those who want to work for Black-owned businesses, because I'm pretty sure a lot of employers in England don't want to hire, prisoners, especially the Black British, due to discrimination. Make sure you include those who are going to be released from prison in England, so they have jobs and they can feed their families. And not only that, but make sure you also emphasize to worker cooperatives. I'm not saying you're familiar with worker cooperatives or worker cooperatives in business. So in case like if a Black business owner retires someday, he wants to pass on legacy. The only to pass on legacy is to make sure include Black prisoners who can take over the business and maintain it. So you definitely want to include a worker cooperatives, because if you don't have a worker cooperative, it's going to be very hard to pass on intergenerational wealth to the next generation.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. Yeah, sorry I went over time.
No, you did good. You're always welcome. So thanks for that, brother. We give thanks to the brother there. We've written down the connect, and we hope to see you back. And invite your friends. And like I said, we can work together and find solutions. Always good. It's always good to hear your voice. Thank you, family. Now we're going to move on to the second type. Now I'm actually quite slightly sure, but last week we started part 1 about the Black Manosphere Tactics. So what we're going to do is we're going to explain what Manosphere is. We did last time, but we're going to break it down. So for those who don't know, the Manosphere, what is it? The Manosphere is a diverse collection of websites, blogs, and online forums promoting masculinity, misogyny apparently, and opposition to feminism. That's obviously someone has spread that through, and that's what it seems to highlight. And this is true. I'm not saying it's not true, but obviously, if you speak to people in the Manosphere, they might offer a different alternative to that. But that's what it has been documented, at least on Wikipedia, anyway, right? But you can basically, these groups don't necessarily identify together, but their goals overlap, and they find themselves maybe in the same space because their goals overlap. So let's break down. The first is the men's rights activists, and that's men's who they believe that for some reason their rights have been taken away. They're the first. Right, men who believe their rights have been taken away. The second would be the incels. This is the word that you might not have heard, the involuntary celibates. So these are men who historically want to be with women, but they feel there's something about them or something about women that makes women not want to be with them, and because of it, they're not best pleased. They're quite bitter. So they call them the incels, the involuntary celibates. Unfortunately, some of the people who shoot up schools in America, they have been identified as incels, and some of the reasons is that there's also the race element. There was that Asian guy who was half Asian, half European, and he shot up a school, and I think it was Francis Cresswell was saying she didn't know why they never did a race analysis, because before he shot up the school, he was saying he was very jealous that he himself is half European, half Asian, but the blonde European women never found him attractive, but those blonde European women were trying to be with black men or be with black men, and that was enough to enrage him. But they never mentioned that. They talk about other stuff, and he shot up the school, and I think he either shot himself or got shot. But yeah, it's interesting analysis that, but once again, people don't really take from Black Betterment standpoint. And then the next one is men going their own way. These are black men who, who I guess they take the red pill, where they know the truth, so they decide to live a life where they're aware of how women are and how women's choices affect them. So they're going their own way. They call them the MGTOW. And then you have the pickup artists. These are men who, and these are what a lot of the podcasts that we're going to describe or we'll talk about are these men where they're trying to teach these other men how to pick up artists, how to get women, how to behave in a way that to get women. And usually, for a lot of it, isn't based around marriage or anything kind of concrete. It's more so how to have intimate relationships and stuff. And then they try to live themselves as, and I've got all these women, so you can as well. And then obviously the last group is the fathers right groups, and men who's been, for one reason or another, can't see their children, and they're trying to do something about that or rebel against that and something. So these men overlap. And there might be some others, but generally these are the primal five of who make up the Manosphere, and how it becomes culturalized. And the reason we said is because we were looking at videos, and let's see if I can find some. I think last week I must have said that, as usual, there was a Manosphere, which is men, and then black people jumped in it, and then how racism works is the black men felt in that Manosphere brotherhood or whatever it is, they were not overlooked, so they formed the Black Manosphere. But then the Black Manosphere, we said last week, it became like a kind of like a very anti-black woman, anti-black family concept, and then mysteriously a European or white woman from America became the king and chief of the Black Manosphere, which is once again
it's Margaret. I think I know who you're talking about. It's Margaret Sanger.
Well, no, you're talking about, so that's the feminist movement from the past, but the Black Manosphere is a recent thing that has its
recent.
Very recent, and we're gonna unpack because what it is on social media. There's men saying stuff. So if we look at some of the things that men say, and let's break down certain things. So I think number one, so we played this last week. We'll play the longer version. So
this is why I tell y'all got to be careful about where y'all get y'all relationships, life advice from these guys on this fucking internet, on these podcasts and shit. Because
forgive this, right?
Yesterday I made a video about that Fugazi Cooley dude or whatever, talking about being a top tier man. I always kind of knew dude was a little buddy, but yeah. So here's the clip, and then I'll show you why.
Don't qualify for the top tier men, and that is the truth.
Do you believe you're a top tier man? By what standard?
I'm 6'4", only about what? 8% of the entire world is 6'4". I make well over 100K a year, and I'm black at that if you add that on.
So for those who can't see, this is one of the guys who's in this kind of Manosphere, But I'm also like the kind of the pickup artists and the guys who try to promote a kind of like lifestyle of don't be with women who have children, and don't don't simp and don't this kind of stuff. But unfortunately, what a lot of this stuff has its history, from what I've seen, in anti-black racism, white nationalism. At least people who are of that were big in the manosphere, and as time goes by, exposing. Then a lot of black people are in there, self-hating concepts, and they bring that into the black community. So then you have black men telling black men not to be with black women. This is obviously going to be a problem, because that's like a primary of black family. If you don't marry black women, I don't know what you're doing. But here's a man who's giving the advice, and his advice is, don't go. And he seems to be always facing black women when he's giving his harsh criticism, and he's harsh criticism. But when he sees he's married, or he's with a European woman with 2 children, and he lives with her, and this is how he gets by. So this is what we're saying, that, and a lot of them, if not all of them, seem to have this kind of, and while we're saying don't have women get angry at these men and try to argue them, just tell other men to tell them to, tell them to talk to men. One thing I was always going to say as well is these groups, these kind of Black Manosphere kind of groups, what they do is they're going to tell women, especially black women, what's wrong with black women, and how black women are picking Pookie and Ray Ray and stuff, but they're never going to actually do 2 things. They're never going to confront the black men who are impregnating the black women and doing bad things in the community, because they can't really step to them on a masculinity level, because that isn't about that. And 2, they're never going to actually give you a list of black women that you should emulate. So that's how you know it's kind of like a clickbait thing, where they're telling you this is a wrong with you guys, but they're not giving you examples. Not saying if you act more like this woman or these women we have here. What they tend to do is they tend to have shows where they put on black women who might be have the characteristics that they're describing, and they say, look at these black women, and they'll have them fight and this kind of stuff. I think we showed this last week as well. And there's a whole load of them, but let's kind of listen to the gentleman.
That's why he said that. That's why he talked the way he talked. That's why he thinks he's a top tier man, because he's 6'4" and black. This is why. He's the trinket. He's the fetish. But this is the dude that y'all follow, fellas. This is the rhetoric that y'all subscribe to from hypocrites. A black man playing stepdaddy to some white kids with a single mother who was a BBL Becky. Mind you, getting her knocked up because she's currently pregnant, not even married to her. They've been together since 2017 and has yet to put a ring on her finger.
When you've been waiting for and think everything is a proposal.
I'm gonna play the Quincy video after, brother. So I'm just thanks for that. Big up, brother Dominic, always on point.
And darling, this is more than anything. So Christmas is around the corner, and since we got a little mixed baby here, we're gonna see which Santa he chooses. We got a black Santa,
And I have the white ones.
and let's see which one he chooses. Same time, don't cheat.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Which one are you gonna pick?
Like, all the boxes were checked. Cringy interracial couple content. She's begging to be proposed to. She's a single mother. All of these things that he tells you in clips like this.
As a single mother, do you believe you deserve a man in the top percentile?
I'm able to do everything else, whether or not I have a baby or not. I still can be a great wife.
Yeah, listen, single moms, recreational use only.
Do you mean like
Time out. Let's reverse it real quick. What?
Looks like you're doing more than recreational use with her, buddy. Or maybe you're not, because you still ain't married her, but you're giving her those mixed kids that she enjoys to make content with, though, right? So like most of these podcasts, I keep telling y'all, a lot of these podcast guys that are the loudest about women are out here living double lives and making bank off of y'all. They're doing the same thing that these podcasts and pink pill women do to other women. They're doing to y'all. And I say this all the fucking time. These podcast guys are never married. They're never in successful relationships. And they're usually buddy boys. But these are the guys y'all subscribe to. These are the guys that y'all are in my comments arguing with me about, defending, and telling me that I'm simping for women. But instead of listening to fellas like myself who are actually married in real life and trying to tell y'all how to find them, y'all would rather listen to guys like him because it reassures the echo chamber that you want to be in. Y'all'd rather sit and point and blame women all fucking day for why you can't find a wife. But everybody's an alpha man, a good man, and a top tier man though. Yet can't none of y'all get together and find no fucking woman. But when married men like myself get to talking about what y'all need to do, you tell me to shut the fuck
up. There you go, bro. Excuse the language. No, so that's what we're talking about, the pickup artists and the Manosphere podcast and this kind of stuff. There you go. Now, I'm gonna. Let me think of this for more of that guy, just so you know who he's talking about. This is the guy he's talking about.
Movement is innuendo. The whole Me Too movement is trying to destroy a man's character.
Do you think that the majority of people that's joining the Me Too movement are lying?
Generally,
oh my God.
Generally, I don't believe them.
Oh my God.
I don't believe it.
I'm sitting here praying that your daughter never has to come to you and tell you that something has happened to her and need proof or need you to say, well, I don't believe you. Generally, because you're speaking about women and you have one is so astonishing to me. As a girl dad, I can't fathom it.
And the rhetoric that you're speaking of is so dangerous. It's so ignorant. There are people out here that are going through that are 1 foot away from jumping off of the next bridge because of people like you. There are women that are prepared to walk into any police station and tell somebody what happened to them, and then they hear the callous demeanor of a person like you that's sitting over there with this ridiculous smirk on your face like something is funny when we're talking about the abuse of a woman. And you still sit there so callous, so disrespectful, because you're looking for your time to interject. You got something that you want to say right now because you're not here for understanding. You are here to satisfy your own ego, and you're here to spread this ridiculous, toxic message to whoever is willing to see it and agree with you.
In regards to everything that you said, you're false, you're wrong. It doesn't make sense. It's not anything that I embody, so that is false. But anyways, the whole me.
So yeah, that's the problem. So the same. Look at the eyes. Look at the behavior. The same. You're going to see in a lot of the kind of Manosphere kind of guys. Who are motivated. Yeah, who are motivated by the clickbait and stuff. And this kind of. Do you want to say something, brother? Go ahead. You see what?
Yeah, very quickly. Yeah, the guy in the video, right? The 6'4". To me he looks very cocky, arrogant. You know what I mean? I could tell by his body language, and to me, he contradicts himself, because if he says that he doesn't want woman, he doesn't want he prefers women to be married to have kids, and vice versa. I mean, look at himself. I mean, he's with Becky and he's not even married to her. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know what he values at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think what I'm trying to explain to the brothers and sisters out there is, a lot of this is like money driven. It's kind of like it's how these people make their money, and we shouldn't be drawn out by it, but we should definitely want receipts when we want to give anyone any kind of like money or kind of status. Not that this brother has any status at all. Now we're going to go from, obviously that's America or maybe Canada or America, them kind of places, to England. I was going to go over, because the time is running out, I was going to go over how they made a white woman the king of the Black Manosphere. But we're going to go to more of this because my name was mentioned in this brother. We've had this brother on before, and he isn't best pleased with brother Umar. I'm just going to just cover there. So with the Manosphere, what I want you to understand is you're going to have black men very critical about black women, very critical about black men who talk about loving black women, but they're not going to be critical about racism or anti-black racism or history of hatred towards black people. As you saw with the last gentleman, and you're going to see with the Fresh and Fit and these kind of guys, they're not like, a lot of them, they have racist friends, or they're trying to get into race society, or they're in a racial relationship that has some kind of cosplay going on. So this is what happens, but let's have a sneak peek at this brother. He's been on before, and he wasn't best pleased about Umar. I think he mentioned me because he connects me with like the same ideology when it comes to loving black women.
Hey folks.
I want to forgive for the language, but like I told you, in this kind of world, that this is a very normal way of speaking when they're doing their videos.
It's your boy Quincy, and tonight I'll be speaking on the topic of Umar Johnson is a fucking idiot. And I'll tell you why, because he's telling black British men that we shouldn't date outside our race and we should stick to black women, and that we owe the black community everything. No, we fucking don't, because in UK, Great Britain, the percentage of black men dating outside our race is about, I think it's about 60% now, which is a lot, because we know that, we good black British men know that the quality of black women is fucking shit, because you know what they do is they waste their best sexual prime years when they're young, pretty infertile, single. The worst type of man, they sleep around their sexual prime years, and cock cry cell, sleep with different men, get pregnant, have their kids, and by the time they leave the sexual prime years in their 30s, early 30s, mid 30s, when they're all fat, out of shape, got different kids from different baby daddies, that's when they want decent men like us, who are child-free, especially SY black men, British black men, that is, they want us to come in and play stepfather to their kids. They say fuck off and fuck no, because we know our own value, that we made better choices in life. We didn't get anyone pregnant. We practiced discipline, dick control, and therefore we didn't become baby dads. As a result, still became child men. And the thing is, we know that non-black women value us more, because they know that we're sensible, we've got heads screwed on, we've got education. So any black British man listening to this video, don't let Umar Johnson shame you into dating just black women. Now, I did research on Google just now earlier, and the world population for 2024 is 8.161 billion people on the planet. Why would you, as a decent black man, limit yourself to black women? Don't do that, because in the black community worldwide, we all know that black women love evil, bad men. They don't like decent men. They don't. So don't let Umar Johnson brainwash you to thinking that as a black man, you only belong to black women, yeah? And if God wanted to, if anyone believe in God, yeah, that if he wanted to create one race, he would, but he didn't create all races of people on the planet.
So remember I told you before that when it comes to like literature, they say William Shakespeare is like the most in the English language, the one they revere the most, whatever. But the persons who were superior to William Shakespeare is the black man trying to explain why he should not be with a black woman. You see, that's when you're going to get all the Shakespeare. You're going to get a person who could just about string a sentence together, come with all the poetry, and that's what we're saying. Like literally, they'll dig deep in their soul to justify why they should not be with a black woman and why they should be with the daughter of the enslaver. You see,
depending on what part of the planet you live in, but he didn't create all these people with different beautiful races of women if he thought it's wrong. You get me? So black men, decent black men, I repeat, do not limit yourself to just black women. Especially if they think you're a dickhead, they don't see your value when you're young, when you're getting your education, getting certifications, or getting a trade, or getting a decent job at 9 to 5. We know that 99.9% black women don't like decent black men until it's too late. The same old tired story, and you get Umar Johnson trying to brainwash us and trying to guilt trip us into dating black women who become single mothers. We are not playing stepdaddies. No fucking way. No, not me. I mean, I'm 42 now. I don't have any kids, and I am not in God's green earth dating a single parent of any race.
Remember, just like we showed the last case study, that brother said the same thing in America, and he married a European woman with 2 children, and then had 2 children with her, you see. And I suspect, obviously, I think she might be more wealthy than him or more popular than him. Maybe that was the draw. I don't know. We did look at a case study of black men in the UK being with European women because it allows them to have free housing and not have to work. There is that going on. Something we want to tackle as well.
And a black woman who's a single parent. I'm not, because I value myself, because I didn't get through.
Now, the brother code said there's nothing wrong with him not wanting to be a stepfather. Here's what it is. I can't tell men, how they should economically be or who they should pick a woman. Like, If you don't want to, that's your freedom. There is honor in looking after children, especially. But I'm not saying that not everyone's built that way. But the problem is this guy is self-sabotaging. So it's more than just a black woman with kids. It's black women in general he doesn't want to be with in any capacity.
All these 40 years of my life, without getting on pregnant, without having any pregnancy scares, to become a stepfather to a kid's not mine, because you can't stand, yeah. Single mothers, going off topic, single mothers don't respect stepdad. They don't. I mean, the dad, the guys that they date who become stepdads have their own children. No, they don't want. They still want the baby that they got them pregnant in the first place. Yeah. So therefore, it doesn't benefit you as child through SOS and black man, to become stepfathers to black single mothers, let alone any other race. Yeah. So it doesn't benefit you. So if I was you, black men, if black women not showing you love, go elsewhere. Get yourself a white woman or non-black woman. I don't give a fuck what Umar Johnson says. You can fuck off, yeah. And the thing what makes me laugh about people like Umar Johnson and Rap Raven, yeah, they have this pro-black Pan-African fantasy that, oh, every black person on the planet should stick together and they shouldn't mix. That's bullshit, yeah. The world's so big, man. The world's too big for that shit, yeah. No, not every person can stay to their own race. You get me? Yeah, yeah. My majority of people, 8% of people throughout the world do stay their own, yeah. That's not everybody, yeah. So you got 8% of people, obviously they date their own race, but that 20% will mix out. With me, I'm at 20%, yeah, because me myself, yeah, I'm not fully black myself, yeah. My dad's mixed race, mum's black, or my dad's biracial in American terms, yeah. So my mum, she's full black Guyanese, but she's born in England, London, and my dad is mixed race Guyanese man. He's mixed with black Guyanese, half black Guyanese, a quarter Irish, quarter Chinese. So I'm not fully black myself, yeah. So therefore,
yeah, this you know, when these brothers who like this talk this way, like they're mixed race and stuff, and they really try to dig up an ancient Chinese man from a past time, a begotten age. This is when you understand that already in the back of the mind something's going on.
I could date whatever one I like. I don't give a shit what everyone says. You know what I'm saying? So, and even a guy called Austin Dunham, a black American YouTuber, he said on his YouTube video earlier, I just watched about 10-15 minutes ago, he said, yeah, as a black man, you should date outside your race at least once in your life, because you get to.
Now, brother, I'm sure you're gonna see this video. You always want to jump back on if you're respectful, or whatever. But obviously, we disagree fully with everything you're saying.
Get to know different cultures, different people, different languages, and if you stretch this off the black women, you might miss out on quality different races.
Remember, these brothers, they don't care about community unity, they don't care about history, they don't care about communities that have destroyed black people and trying to rebuild from that process. They're not even trying to analyze their behaviors or what might motivate the behaviors that they think is negative, or how to fix it. Their thing is to flee into other communities and abandon because of a bias they have. You see, the same bias that they have towards a black woman for what he says black women are allegedly doing. He will look past that when other groups do it. We've demonstrated that for the last video, by the way, and we see it's quite consistent.
Like a Latina woman, a white woman, or whatever, Asian, whatever, yeah. So black. This is the message to black rich men, yeah. Don't limit yourself.
Be interested to know if this man is ever with any woman. By the way he's behaving, that would be a good case study to do, and we wish him well anyway.
To the black women, don't, because you're gonna hurt yourself in the long run. You know what I mean? So if black,
clearly there's trauma there, and we tried to unpack the trauma last time, and we tried to do an exercise to make him unpack it, but he wasn't really for it, and he didn't want to do any. We even said we were happy to walk with him in what's that thing, Hyde Park, or any kind of public place where people are, and just for him to talk to black women while we were there, we tried to maybe document it and show him where he's going wrong. But I don't think he was. That was quite scary for him.
Black women won't turn you love you. Don't feel guilty of dating that, because there's plenty of beautiful women, all race women throughout the world, especially the UK, especially London.
Notice how there's nothing positive he says about black women, but every other race there's plenty of good women. You see, for him it's like a no. This is the trauma 101.
And you got so much choice, yeah. So decent black men. So don't restrict yourself. No, do yourself a favor, yeah. And the thing is, like I said, this is the year 2024. We live in the 21st century. This ain't the 18th century, was 1724, where slavery, where we didn't have any choice. So, but today, about today in race. Now you've got so much choice.
So the brother will brush over slavery. So it's not like the slavery days where we weren't allowed. Now that slavery's over, we're allowed to marry the daughters of the enslaver. This is a great news for us. Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. Nothing about reparations, nothing about remembering your ancestors, nothing about, well, you know, why don't we focus on self before we jump out? You know, when the enslaved was doing it, were they bad? Was the white woman part of the process? Do they support reparations? Could you use that as a process to demonstrate that they don't like black people collectively? None of that. Just don't marry black women, marry non-black women.
Especially in the Western society, like Western societies like UK, USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, where you got a bunch of
mention European places,
different races of women,
European dominated places
to choose from. So don't, black British men, don't restrict yourself to the black women, because you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna hurt yourself. And like I said, black women don't like these are black men until they become fucking single mothers, and it's too fucking late, and it's the same old shitty story, same old excuse. Oh, I was young, I didn't know the guy was bad. They knew the guy was bad.
So remember I told you about that dynamic where the look past and the kind of like the unfortunately the low tier kind of man where he's allegedly seen a black woman pick men that are not best. His role will never be to confront the man or to correct the man as a boy, or to make sure that men have a respectful way. His thing is to blame the woman for the bad men that they're around, and the fact that those men abandon their families. In what he's saying here, he will never try to reform those men. He'll blame the woman. That's because, remember I told you, he's going for the easy target. These men, they're the 80% that people ignore by their wrong kind of standards, and their thing is to not stand up and be masculine, but to actually go for easy targets, and women are the easy targets, you see. And that's what you're going to see in the whole of those kind of like bro manosphere kind of things. They're always going to have 10 women on there, and the women will be the kind of women that they're describing that they find in a strip bar or in a kind of porno set, whatever it might be. And then they're gonna like get them angry, go, you see, but they'll never bring a woman that they recommend ever, because that will go against their branding, you see.
They distinctly decide they chose to ignore it. So don't listen to their bullshit sob story. They even messed up their lives up all the time. And even the black women that are decent, that got supposed to have their head screwed on, that got like 4 university degrees, yeah, they say they make the same fatal mistake. I don't feel sorry for them. I really don't. Or any single mother at that matter, because they knew the guy was a piece of shit, but they failed to be the signs. So therefore, don't fall for their sob story and bullshit. You know what I mean? Because it's a decent woman who's got her head screwed on. Don't fall for that shit. You get me? Like, you know what I mean? So like, black British men, don't feel guilty for dating outside your race. Yeah? If, for example, if a Chinese woman's showing love, go for a Chinese woman. Or if a Russian woman's showing love, go for a Russian woman. Yeah? Don't feel obligated to be tolerated for a black woman, to get with a black woman just because you're black. Oh, you're black, she's black, you're black, you should date each other. No. If she's showing you hatred and disdain, stay away from them. Stay away from them, yeah? To get yourself a non-black woman that's going to love and appreciate you, yeah?
If any woman shows you hatred and disdain, you shouldn't be with her. But then to try to summarize that as a black woman thing, once again, this is a trauma that he's gone through and hasn't been the end of it. And I do wonder, with these brothers, like I said, they might go through the same experience through non-black women, and they will look past it. You see, they'll look past that, and we see, and we demonstrate that just in the last video.
And you thank me late for it, because you know Umar John's a fucking idiot, man. He's a fucking he's a failed pro. He is a failed pro black. I tell you why the failed pro black, because he's talking about black men should stick black women, but look at him. He's a fucking baby father. He's got 2 kids, 2 different kids, 2 different baby mothers. So
the thing is, when you become in the public eye, people will use any kind of straw to beat you with, any kind of perceived error, you know, and they'll rest their hat on that forever.
Can't fucking talk. And also, he talks about this Frederick Douglass school that is built in America. He'd be having that same conversation.
Once again, they do that as well. What they do is the black community are underfunded and underskilled in so many areas that we need. And we need bravery or someone trying to step up and do it. And I can assure you, when you're actually a director, when you actually do something, it takes longer than expected, especially if you're not best qualified in it, especially if you're not funded a resource properly or accurately, right? But what these brothers do is, you know, they're not best pleased that he was trying to promote black love. So now he's trying to undermine a constructive thing as in making school for boys. Remember, he is not willing to educate those boys on how to look after women. Brother Umar is trying to do that, hence with the schools, and now he's demonizing the schools. You see, don't support the schools. It's all fraud, this kind of fraud, right? This is what I'm saying. These brothers, we have to, understand that they are the epitome echelon of being broken. And they go down the street and they promote their brokenness to the world, but they wear it like a badge of honor. You see, a badge of honor, and that's what you're seeing here. And that's why I'm not his biggest fan, or I'm not his biggest fan, because I promote black love. And I tried to be kind to this brother when he came on the show one time, but he was so full of trauma, he just couldn't sit still.
From 2009, he's like 27 years old, yeah? And what he's doing, yeah? He's stealing money from these stupid black women that's paying him donations, whatever. Oh, I'm going to build a school, yeah? But what he's doing with that money, yeah? He's funding his lifestyle and his fucking cocaine habit. He's a fucking druggie. You get what I'm saying?
I don't know where that came from. That's I've been seeing. Once again, I don't pry into people's lives, but I've never heard that before. But once again, people say they want. And you, brother Cole, I'm not. You don't have to love someone. I'm not. I'm into black love still. However, I stay straight from feeling Umar. If you're not feeling Umar, that's fine. I think one thing I would say is ideas over individuals. Some people, it's hard to get with them because of their charisma or the way they operate, or just you might have personal issues with someone. But I say that, what is it that someone is saying? So I'm very easy to hate. I can assume someone like me, but what am I saying? If I'm saying be constructive, I try to put black people's collective needs before my own. So maybe I might fall short as a person, but is the idea good? And if the idea is good, we say this. Sometimes you can't collaborate because you don't like someone. So if you can't collaborate, compete. Compete on the same topic. If I'm trying to help black people and you don't like me, and you can't collaborate with me, why don't you compete against me? So if I help 1 million, why don't you try to help 2 million? You see? So black people are always winning. Put black people first, and it makes communication that much more easier.
Do not listen to what Umar Johnson telling you, because chatting is a lot of shit. He's just a dickhead, man. I ain't got fucking time for him. And us black British men, and look fall for his fucking tricks, yeah? I know he might fool some black Americans.
So obviously, when he's saying he loves black women and stay away from Europeans, it's obviously triggered this man. A big part of his life has been shattered by the consistency of what Brother Umar is saying and how people are following it. So he's not best pleased.
But he's not fooling black British men.
This dude has been on Black Bear broadcast. He came in one time. We mentioned him because he was screaming the loudest about not being black women or something. Then he jumped on and he found it very hard to control himself. But we tried to. There was a brother who came on to help me talk to him. We tried to offer him some guidance, and we said we'll meet him up in a public place and try to demonstrate how to communicate with black people, black women. But I think he was completely shocked by such a concept, and he might jump on the future time when he sees this video, because it always passes his radar. And he's always welcome for us to continue that process of how to introduce him to the black community, so he doesn't feel like he's a rogue, ostracized individual.
We're hip to the game. We know it's bullshit, trying to brainwash them to thinking, oh, but you're black, you owe the black community. I don't, as a black British man, I don't owe my race the community nothing, especially when it comes to date. I don't owe nothing. I'm my own individual man.
Remember I told you about the individualistic ideology? You see, we were talking about the brother who jumped on. They want you to know they wear a badge, that they're individualist. They don't care about collective betterment in any form, but they're willing to forgive Europeans for what they collectively did. You see, they're willing to join the collective of Europeans by marrying their daughters and trying to give away their economics and stuff. They're happy to do that. But when the black people, there's an over concentration on what's black people doing? No, I'm not part of that. I'm not part of that. They dedicate to these kind of concepts. This is you're seeing the conquering. You're seeing the conquered mentality, and obviously a brother like him will never be in the top percentage of people who work for Betterment because he's far gone damaged. But we do wish him well, but we have to use him as a case study, because when we talk about the manosphere mentality, unfortunately there are a few who are like this, and quite a bit, to be honest. And once again, we listed the men's rights activists, the incels, involuntary celibates. So I'm not saying he's that. The men going their own way. I'm not saying he's that. Pickup artists. I'm definitely not saying he's that. And Father's Rights Week. He can't be that. But amongst that Manosphere talking point, he seems to be knocking a lot, you see. But what I'm trying to highlight to the brothers and sisters is, and I know this a long time ago, you have this Manosphere concept, then you have a Black Manosphere, which is the black version of it. But at the heart of it, it is anti-black racism. And that's why in all the forums, the people who they read their books about, who they buy all the the lingo, whatever, they've all been exposed as being anti-black racists. And not only that, the black people themselves are anti-black racists. This brother is actually spewing anti-black racism or self-hating racism or self-hating bigotry or whatever it is. But it's become so normalized that we don't even see it that way. That's how a lot of us wear our hatred as a sleeve or a shield.
I do what pleases me. And if Umar Johnson don't like it, he can fuck off. His fucking shit. I'm sick of his bullshit, yeah.
Look at how he's angry by the concept of loving black women. Can you see the rage, the from the rough rage? You know, he's willing to be personal because the man says love black women.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, Umar Johnson now, yeah. You know, he's a failure. He's a failed pro-black. I'm not sure if he's a doctor. Is he a doctor? I don't know, man. He sounds fishy, man. You know what I mean?
So you have a man who openly admit he does nothing for black people. That's what this brother is saying for himself. He wants nothing, but he's now going to be heavily criticized against someone who's trying to do something. And then, is he a doctor? Is this brother a doctor? Once again, this is the freedom that the internet promotes. That you don't have to have any kind of skills or consistency. You can just look at someone doing the work and tear them down.
And and if black women's so fucking great, Umar Johnson, why are you not wifed up any of the single mother baby mothers? Answer that question. You fucking idiot. It just annoys me, man.
It really does annoy him. Black love.
But Umar Johnson is trying to guilt trip black men, especially, and also black men.
So remember, this is the mindset into the manosphere. Many of the brothers, like it is like highly concentrated anger. You see, a small percentage, maybe a woman picked someone else in nursery, secondary, wherever the school might be, and this is just escalated. It's now that's what it is. This man has many tales from school as he was going on. You see, he hasn't recovered from that kind of early trauma, but somehow the way his mind is wired, the black woman is to be blamed and the white woman is to be famed.
American men, not as well as black British men, also trying to guilt trip black American men. But one thing I noticed as well, especially the younger generation of black men, especially Generation Z, anyone born from 1997 to 2010, I think it is, the younger generation of black men, they're not listening to me either. Because they know he's chatting shit. He's full of shit. He may have guilt tripped and won over the generation Gen Xers and some of the early millennials who were born in the early 80s, from 81 to 84. But I think the younger millennials and especially Generation Z black men, they say no, we're not fuck the black community. We're not doing that bullshit. We know our self-worth. We're loved and celebrated. And any black man, not just black British men or black American men, any black man throughout the world, yeah. If a black woman's not showing love, go where celebrate. Whatever non-black woman that shows you love, go for that. You know what I'm saying?
It's an if, but we understand that black men are more likely to date out the group than black women. Black women have a history of loving black men. So once again, he's not really using any kind of data.
And it's a great time. It's a good time to be alive now in 2024 because as a black man, you've got so much choice in terms of dating non-black women. Don't feel guilty from walking away from the black community, because black community is not showing love. Yeah, just walk away from it, because you do yourself a world of good. You know what I mean? So again, I don't feel guilty for not dating black women. I don't think black women these days are not that attractive. I'm sorry to hate that. It might sound self-hating, but it's not really. It
is really self-hating, brother, and I'm glad you know that.
Really not, because you can't stand. A lot of black women, I say 95% of them, or 97% of them, they're fake looking from head to toe. So therefore, they're attractive by default. You get me? They're not wearing natural hair, or they bleach their skin. They wear blue or green contact lenses. They wear fake claw nails.
Once again, if this was true and he believes it, what is he doing? What is causing that if it is true? And what remedy can he deliver, rather than standing on top of or the bottom of a mountain and screaming racism or bigotry, anti-black concepts? But once again, this is what we should is what we're seeing in this kind of movement.
A blonde weave, and what makes me laugh, and I find
these are low blow, easy, low-hanging fruit techniques that he's doing.
Ironic. They call us self-haters for then that's our race, yeah. But at least when I date a non-black woman, I stay looking black. I stay looking myself, right? When a black woman dates a white man, fucking no, she changed the whole appearance, and also she changed the whole way she speaks to how she speaks to her.
This man has been observing this union between white men and black women, and so it must be bothering him.
She's a black man, a white man, shall I say? You know what I mean? So like we don't have to do that shit. We stay who we are. But I know
But who are you?
Black women, they're outside their race. They change the whole personality, the whole speech patterns, everything, just to try to fit in. And to me, that's a definition. That's definitely self hate. You know what I'm saying? So
once again, when Brother Dominic's highlighting, they will never talk about. I was looking at who wants to some was it? I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out there. And they have some Europeans in there from. I remember when I was younger, I was seeing them, and they've all done this kind of like facelift kind of Botox body augmentation technique of. Well, a lot of them are kind of similar now because this might be a fashion thing. I'm not too sure, but there is no critique of this kind of idea. This kind of trying to have European lips look more African. I assume that's what I can think they're doing. And getting it very wrong, but it's not for me to speak. But there is no criticism of that. There's no criticism of tanning. There's no criticism of extensions that Europeans use. All the problems will go on the shoulder of the black woman's shoulders, you see. And that Rama told you that they will never confront men. They confront women, and obviously black men. It's black women because it's black men's responsibility to protect black women. And if they're not doing that, you have easy targets.
Johnson needs to shut the fuck up and just get the fuck out. Because we black British men, we're not. This is your bullshit. We're hip to the game. Remember.
You're not hip to the game, my brother.
You're not fooled by your fucking brainwashing, and you should take the black woman. You're black, and another thing that gets back Wilma Johnson. He says that say if you get married to black woman, say if you get married to a non-black woman, and we have kids with them, and say for unfortunate circumstances you die first year. He said that the black community, your money that you make, if you're a black millionaire and you happen to die before your wife, your money that you make goes towards the non-black community. That's not true.
It's very true. We demonstrate that today with Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson.
The money I make after I die will go towards my wife and my kids. This is what we're not telling you. You know what I'm saying? He's just an idiot.
Once again, if you marry a white woman, you can't tell your kids to marry a black person. These men, remember, they have white wealth ideology in their mind. Blood has no color. They're happy to be an 84-year-old man and look at their grandkids as European, marrying other Europeans and taking all their work, their hard-earned cash and invested in European ideas and institutions, because they see themselves as humanitarianist, colorless kind of individuals, I guess. So yeah, this is what it is. But once again, brothers like this will not be leading the black community because they don't have any black in them to want to lead anything.
So don't listen to him. He's just full of shit. Yeah. So when I die, for example, if I became multi-millionaire and I die, it's not gonna go to the non-black community. It's gonna go to my wife and kids. You know what I'm saying? So he's just full of shit, man. And the thing is, he moans about how black men when they get married, they're giving their weight, their wealth and riches to the non-black community. But what he failed to realize and understand yet, what he doesn't mention is that when black women would spend money on wig bundles, wig bundles, fake hair, fake nails, blue contact lenses, by that definition, they would give their money away to the Asian man, the Mexican man, the Latino man when they go to the corner shops and buy the wig bundles, yeah. So he don't have a go at them for doing that, but then he has a go.
He does. He has a go at not owning the black economics and women being more having a European kind of persona and giving money to non-black vendors. That is something he tackles.
Ask just dating outside race.
But once again, he's not talking about what he does. How does he circulate his money, especially if he's married to a European? If you're married to a European, that's a lifelong commitment of funding someone who's not black. So you are by definition funding a European.
That for women, to women that love us, really genuinely loves and appreciate us. You know what I mean? So it's just full of shit, man. But anyway, listen, before I go, and this is my message to black British men. Black British men, do not, I repeat, don't listen to Omar Johnson. It's full of shit, yeah. If a non-black woman or white woman is showing you love, go for her. And if black women not showing, if black women not showing love, then just move on from them because they're not worth it, man. Anyway, I'm a bit drunk. Forgive me. Anyway, listen. If you like this video, please subscribe out.
Now, brothers, I know sometimes you might hear this and you might be, in shock. I mean, the brother just said he's a little bit drunk. So a man drinking alone in the room, we wish him well. And by the way he's moving, the way he's stuttering, the way his eyes are shifting around, the man, we don't know what he's going through. Self-hatred is a big part of black people, unfortunately, and as we try to fix the community, self-hatred will be in every corner. So I will ask us to be nice to such brothers, even though they are not going to be nice back. They will articulate their pain very clearly for us to see, and I think there is no value in hitting a man when they're down. In his current condition, it is an honor for black women not to be with him, because I don't see he can do anything for them, and he can only bring self-hatred to the relationship. But hopefully we've demonstrated how the manosphere. Now I'm going to end the show quite soon, and we've gone past because we had a very fruitful, long show. I wanted to show you about the Black Manosphere and how the journey of how they made black women, how they made a white woman the mascot of the Black Manosphere, which is once again inadequacy. There's back-to-back inadequacies. There was a video going to show. I think the woman sounds like a pink pillar, which is like a woman who's rebelling against black men because of many things. I could be wrong. So I mean, this is the this is the video I was going to play. I don't know if I'm going to play. I might be 5 minutes or something. I might not play. Let me see what it is. So this is highlighting the journey of, I think, the issues with the manosphere, the black side, and also black men in the UK. Whatever. This one. You go subscribe there. Ta-da.
This is King Riches, one of Just Pearly Things' plantation bucks. He's one of the main black men who defended Pearl after her racist statements. One of the main reasons Pearl has become such a success in the black community is that the Black Manosphere has given her free rein to ridicule, debase, and insult black women, and black women voluntarily continue to go on her podcasts. These black men don't like you, they certainly don't marry you, and they don't find you attractive.
So there's a movement of black women. I'm not saying this woman is that, pink pillars. So it's like a response to red pillars where black women are, I think black women going their own way, or showing you how black men are or how they perceive it, and black, and you get this certain quotes that you get the same black man and all that kind of stuff. And I suspect the way this tone is going, maybe the system might be that way. I'm not too sure. I'm not familiar with. I've reached out to many pink pillars before, but they don't speak to black men in general, so they don't trust anything. But Miss Carolson.
But the point of this video is for black women to see these black men for who they really are, and why you should stop going on these podcasts, because all you're doing is allowing them to use you for entertainment.
This is very true. This is the sisters bring the science there. When you go on these Manosphere podcasts, argue with them, they're getting paid off you, and them infuriating you and having you scream and shout is only added to their own algorithms, and they're trying to prove their point that you're out of control and all this kind of stuff. It's a very cheap trick. I wouldn't fall for it. Once again, you'll never see these guys debating men. They're very fearful of men, especially masculine, macho men, especially road men, very successful men, very assertive men. That you will never see them talk to those men. And by the way they connect words together, you can tell they weren't really grown up in any kind of situation where they had to really defend themselves, and you can really tell. And once again, it's going after women, which is the easy group. If it's like a man and a woman, and you're a man, going for the woman is the easy target. See, that's what they always go for.
And to line their pockets. This is an old video of King Riches, before he could afford to get an average white woman. But listen to the disdain in his voice when he describes black women, and I'm sure he speaks for me.
So that's the context. This is one of the most popular UK Manosphere red pill kind of guys. This is his history of how he used to view black women. I don't know if he still is. I think she might have left him, but he was with an Italian woman. This was like the prize for him. But this was him talking back in the day or something.
Many black men.
You're brutally honest, and you take an honest look at in the world, and you look at the average black chick you see walking around. She's probably not good looking, and you have to just be real about it. right? And this was a lot of what a lot of people said in the comments under that video. They were saying that, you know, a lot of black chicks just ain't good looking. That's why a lot of black guys are going elsewhere, going to other races of women, you know. And, you know, there's other factors, as in, like, you know, a lot of black chicks having bad attitude, being overweight, etc., etc. But, you know, that really stuck out to me because, you know, when I do just like take an observation of like the average black chick you see, like for instance, if you see 100 black chicks in a day, how many of those chicks are like a 7, you know, a 7 or above? Like, it's not really that many, bro. I think it is a unique problem, or an exclusive problem to black people and black men in particular, because the average black chick walking around is not pretty, bruv. I don't know what time it is wherever you're listening from, yeah, but if you go outside now, yeah, well, not now because it's right here in the UK, it's like 1:30 in the morning on a Sunday night, but tomorrow, yeah, do this experiment. Whether you're a man or woman, whoever you are listening, yeah, you just go outside and you count every black chick that you walk past or you see, right, and make a tally, yeah, of how many black chicks you
see. Was it self-hatred? This is so what we're saying is these men are making choices to be with people, and that's how they process information. So when people say love has no color and these people get rich and they find their partners, the reason why we have to ignore that kind of data is because we know in the back of so many black men's mind is supreme self-hatred. So how can they make a just decision or a equal decision to pick a life partner when they have these biases of self in them? And this is a challenge that black people have that is a higher rate than any other community group. The actual rate of self-hate is very high. And this brother, and they will demonstrate with a smile on their face. And even when explained to them, they don't fully get it because it's become culturalized, it's normalized. It's like self-hatred is a normal part of life.
see, and how many of them is actually pretty in the face? In the face. Forget about their boobs.
So what he's saying is the phenotype of black people or black women, which is the complementary equivalent to the black man, by definition, is not pretty. This and when this man is dating an Italian today, you see why. And we're not going to unpack it, but that Italian woman was part of another controversy where she was arguing for race and white supremacists about why is she with this black person. Right?
Forget about the fat ass. Forget about all of that. Just look at their face, bruv. How many of them are actually pretty, bruv? It's not that many, bruv. It's not that many, bro. Like,
so I think for a community, how a person can have this and still speak shows the level of community where you can people be aware you talk this way, but you still have followers. It's a conquered community. The men have been the level of conqueredness amongst the men is too high. That's why we need Black Betterment to reform this.
And I swear it's the truth, bro. It's just the truth. It's the fucking truth, man. Even with that being said, a lot of these girls, their saving grace is just their bum. Like, if they didn't have a big bum, a lot of these girls are fucked. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of them are just fucked.
What you're going to observe from these, remember these Manosphere, remember I told you how connected to white approval anti-black racism is. You will not find this narrative about Europeans. There'll be no harsh criticism about how Europeans treat black people, and there'll be no harsh criticism about European women specifically, you see? So this is what you remember, this is the analysis you have to do.
Like, because they're not really like pretty in the face. And, you know, all ethnicities of women can have big boobs and shit like that. Like, that's not exclusive to no ethnicity. So, you know, a lot of times, like, black chicks have the stereotype of having nice bodies, but really it's just, oh, she's got a fat ass. Like, she got a fat ass, all that shit. But even now, bruv, like, at the end of the day, a lot of white girls have got big bums now. A lot, bruv. Even where I live, which is like a normal, traditional, you know, outside of London, white area, even a lot of these white girls.
The guy lives outside London, the white area. That might also influence him.
Just got big booties, like, and I don't know how they're doing it, bruv. They're evolving, bruv. So even that little advantage or whatever that a lot of these black girls has, they don't really have it anymore. How many of the black girls are actually good looking like that? Do you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, a lot of times you will see like good looking, black dudes, and you'll see them with a girl, a black chick, who's not really that good looking. That's the average.
Isn't it interesting that he can find men to be attractive, but not black women?
Like, I'm sorry to say it, like, there's a lot of black girls are just not pretty, like, but the fucking average, bro, is not looking good, bro. It's not fucking good, man. With us black guys now, oh no. All we care about is if the girl's got a fat ass. Is the girl got a fat ass? That's all we care about. You know what I'm saying? Because we know, subconsciously, that the likelihood of us getting a very, very pretty black girl to Western standards is not high.
So he just said that for us to find a black girl of Western standard, a pretty black girl of Western standard. So he's already got the Western standards as his prettiness, the European, and he's, he knows that the African can't look European, so it can't be high standard. Once again, they're letting you know the root of the hatred.
So we subconsciously tell ourselves to disregard the face. That's what I've realized. But yeah, like, it's mad, like, it's actually bonkers. Like, we are the only race of men that have to think like that.
This is an example of a colonized mindset to judge black women by Western standards, meaning a black woman is only pretty if she has features of a white woman. Black men are so powerless and weak-minded that they're not even in a position to be able to form attraction to the women in their own race. Instead, with their colonized mind,
I would like to talk to some of these women, the pink pillars and stuff, if that's what the sister is. My analysis, I wouldn't even go against her. I mean, some of them might feel that I might try to be defensive. The strategy, I mean, is I'm not going to be defensive for black men because I accept that collectively black men are conquered. And what you're describing is that process of being conquered in the levels. But there are ways to deal with it, and it'll be good to have a discussion with women who have given up on black men to actually discuss how to reform.
they're attracted to who white men tell them to be attracted to. And black men...
The sister, the way she's speaking is quite important. She's pointed back on men. I don't know who she is. I have to do some research for them. I just got around the video. But she said black men are being told to be attracted to by white men. A good way to pull it. Always pull it on men to men. That way the black man will freeze. If you pull it on black woman to black man, he'll try to dominate you with anxiety and big muscles and stuff. But if you put it onto white men, he'll freeze. So that's where a good technique you should always do.
Have normalized this behavior because if you can't beat them, you join them.
You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, I can't deal with a girl seriously or for a prolonged period of time, and I just don't find her attractive. Like, I find her face kind of like just not nice. Like, if they take their body away, bro, you take their body away and tie their hair up or give them a skin fade, bro, these women look like dudes, bro. Do you know what I mean? And that's completely insane to me. She might have a nice body, but she's just not pretty to Western standards. Like, and the problem is that us black guys that are born.
You said you're probably the only person who will suggest can don't play with those words, the pink community. You won't take it personally. Yeah. Nothing that's said against black men collectively I can take personally. The truth of the matter is I've accepted the concept that the black men have been conquered. I think the correct term is we haven't recovered from being conquered, you see. And yes, there is the individual pockets of brilliance, but as a whole, and this brother here is demonstrating, it's like his mindset, even though he's articulate, I suspect it's what we know. It's more widespread, and it's casual. Like we're at the point where people can talk this way openly because of how conquered someone is. You see, so it's important it'd be good to talk to some of the sisters who are good at analyzing, and I present them how working together we can actually fix it.
And raised in these Western countries, we look at beauty through Western standards. So in our own eyes, we look at our own girls as not attractive, which is fucked.
Now, this is King Richard's girlfriend. He'll take an average white woman with heavy makeup, eyeshadow, contouring, and she seems to be an older woman. But her whiteness is all he needs to see in order to call her attractive.
So the day before, Nick was on my boyfriend's channel. He let me know very bluntly that it's disgusting that I'm dating a black man.
These men dislike black women so much that they can't hold it in. No one asked him to give his opinion on the attractiveness of black women, but they need to let everyone know how they see you. The need to be in proximity to whiteness is what drives most black men, and they will step all over black women in order to get there. And he gave you his raw truth. So while black women are worshiping these men, they're using and degrading you to make money to take care of the white women who they choose over you. Make it make sense.
Yeah, so it'd be good to have a conversation with the pink pillars if we get time, whatever. They are responding to the red pill community. So these are all terms that the Manosphere and the sister, I don't know if it's the sister sphere, I don't know what they would call the woman version, if there is a name. Yeah, so family, I've got some work tomorrow, so I've got to jump away. But yeah, next week we might do a part 3, maybe, or maybe we'll tackle the response to it. Maybe let's hear some, because what I see from the women who are very critical about the Manosphere is very intelligent, educated responses. Now I see some over the top responses, very over the top, but I also see some good analysis, and also an ability to keep posture and emotions as they're demonstrating and explaining what they see. Something that some of these brothers struggle to do. You see that they get very problematic. Yeah, but what we're going to do, we're going to tackle like that gentleman there. He's got a European wife, and it was a connection between the European wife and the white woman he works for, and how the white woman he worked for would invite a racist on her show, and then that racist then made fun of his wife to be, or his girlfriend, and the white woman who hired him and got the racist didn't defend him and didn't defend her, and was in agreement with the racism, even though he is pushing this woman as the queen of the Black Manosphere, this kind of stuff. It's just a mess, really. But this is what happens without Black Betterment. I mean, the moral of the story, without Black Betterment, black people hate each other. Sister was rooted to become Miss Africa. Yeah, the sister who was rooted. Yeah, she became the sister for Nigeria, who was going for Miss Africa. She came second. We covered the bill, but she came second. All right, family. If there's any questions, I'm going to end to go to sleep. I've got a meeting tomorrow, and I don't know if I'm going to make it yet. Let's see the time. No response. Yeah, so I'm going for quick. So, guys, it was good. Till next week, Black Bourbon to all Black Bourbon. We might do a part 3 next week. Hopefully, you've learned something, and big up to the 2 brothers who jumped on. It's good and the 3 brothers, I think it was 3 brothers who jumped on. But 2 spoke mainly. And big up Brother Dominic for the support. Big up Empress Christie as support as usual. Big up, let's go through the list quite a lot. Big up Millie Goddess, big her up as usual, good contributor. Big up On Code with his perspective. Big up, I'm trying to see, it's got a lot of talk going in the chat. It's a very important topic, that's why. See if there's anyone else to be big up. A big up Dub 3000. I think it's called Leon as well, and Kane Black and Reparations Nation. Big you all up. Until next week, Black Bearman to all, Black Bearman. Tell a friend to be a friend of the show, and let's help black people. Here we go. All right.